is another A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. So we've got Science on Tap coming up January 21st. Sofa and Suds January 22nd. Solar Bears game with Sam January 26th.
Yeah,
and
Solar Sammy.
Florida.
$5 beer night.
Yeah.
Did you see what she did? We had the...
Y'all should have checked the dates.
We had all the dates on there, and we
I
get to
know.
pick which ones we go to. And Sam eagle-eyed that $5 beer night and she swooped in there and snagged it.
Because I didn't go in and check all the promotions.
Me neither.
Anyway, the Florida Smash Beer Fest that Hourglass Brewing is putting on, that's January 28th, all for a spoonful of hope and charity.
Yep.
And it's an awesome beer fest. So I love challenges. You guys know this, right?
You do love a good challenge. And you also like an endurance challenge
Yes.
or a mileage challenge or
Yes.
a tour across America challenge.
Adventures.
Yeah, adventure challenges. And you also like it when they, normally these type of challenges raise awareness or, help out certain things. And
I don't really care about that.
Okay.
I just like the challenge.
Yeah, just the challenge.
And the adventure of doing something that's seemingly insane.
Well, you're in luck because we have a challenger on the line, my friend.
And before we introduce him, he set out to ride a unicycle from Maine to Key West.
Yes. The two gayest places in the world are Maine and Key West.
And this seems like an impossible task. Like I would say that it would take
decades to do this.
I mean, an amount of time that's so long, people would lose interest.
Well, biking is dangerous as it is, let alone only on one wheel, right?
So on the line with us right now, we've got Avery Suiter, right?
That's correct, Avery Suiter.
And he is currently riding a unicycle from Maine to Key West. And
through the power of unicycle phone technology, we were able to catch him live.
How you doing, Avery?
Hi, good. How are you?
Great. So, Avery, tell us how this started and why you're doing this.
Right. Well, I've been riding my unicycle for a couple of years. I learned in 2018, and I've been using it to commute to work and school. And I got interested in traveling with it further distances. I think it's interesting to be able to see the country in a different way, and it feels more personal than driving.
Yeah, I mean,
True.
like biking,
you're right in the environment.
and
yeah.
you're one less wheel than most bikes, so I think you have a different perspective there in that your trip will be far more clowny.
Right.
It's a clownier. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it as a term in clown. Like it's more of it's a more whimsical and lighthearted tour across America than just the guy that gets on a Cannondale and he takes off and he's like, I did it. Like that's not. There's nothing fun about that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's definitely unique, and it gets people's. It catches people's interest. So it's a great way to meet people along the way. I've it's a good conversation starter.
Sure, I bet you get all the dudes. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Avery, so let's talk about the unicycle that you're riding. Is it a standard unicycle? Is it built for distance?
Have you seen it? It's awesome.
Is it like a touring?
Yeah, that's
unicycle?
a great question. I based it off of the unicycle that Ed Pratt uses. He unicycled around the world a few years ago. It took him 5 years.
That's crazy.
So
Ed Pratt, the famous unicyclist Ed Pratt?
I was on his website earlier. Yeah. You have a very similar bike,
joking.
right? You have a similar bike.
Nobody knows that.
Exactly. So I have a Nimbus 36-inch wheel.
It's
and
a big wheel, dude. Like it's a massive.
You got a Nimbus 36?
Yeah, well, it's a bigger radius. And he's also, your tires look a little more aggressive. Like it definitely looks like it's not your dad's unicycle. It's more of an aggressive, like mountain bike unicycle.
Right. Well, for the unicycle, it doesn't have any gears like a bike would.
Right.
So by blowing up the wheel and having a larger radius, it's kind of like using a larger gear on a bike.
But is it harder for you to start, obviously, because you're only one gear? I mean, to get you going on a bigger wheel, you got to be strong, right?
Yeah, it does take a lot of effort to get started and up onto it. But once you're moving, the sort of weight of it and the speed and momentum, it helps balancing a lot. So it doesn't take as much effort once you're moving as you might expect.
So, Avery, I'm curious to why you decided Maine to Key West.
Well, he's from Maine.
Okay, all right. And then you could have gone west and gone to New York.
Well, Key West is
or,
fun.
I'm sorry,
Key
LA.
West is fun. Unicycles are fun.
Maine and New York's not that
Yeah,
far.
that's true.
Well, I'm lazy.
Well, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. So that was kind of appealing to me to reconnect that way.
I love it.
And the route already exists. So the East Coast Greenway runs all the way down the coast, and it's a series of trails that aren't connected yet, but there's a lot of very nice segments and multi-use paths along the trail.
All right, let's talk about the East Coast Greenway. So
Yeah,
that's
kind of why you're riding, right?
This is
Right.
kind of like the Appalachian Trail. This is a well-known trail. Like, I'm sure other people have walked this or run this or biked this. Has anybody else unicycled it?
Not that I'm aware of, but again, people have unicycled much further distances. I do think this is a first, though, for the Greenway. I actually just ran into a couple that's riding it on a tandem bicycle, which was kind of interesting.
They're pussies compared to you, man. You're doing it alone on one wheel. That's crazy.
So let's talk about this. You start in Maine. I mean, how many miles can you cover a day? Like, how much planning did it take? I'm sure there's an amount of money you need just for food, drink, to places to stay and shower. Like, how much money did you have to even start with?
Yeah, good question. Well, I started in Maine. I've traveled, as of yesterday, 2,000 miles.
Wow.
And I do about 20 to 30 miles a day. So it takes a long time, and I do have to stop at more frequent intervals than a typical cyclist. I've been so lucky to have people and friends and family and strangers that have helped me out and let me stay with them overnight, which has really helped me save a ton of money.
Sure.
I don't know that it would be possible without that kind of hospitality.
Do you have a chase vehicle at all, or somebody to try and help keep you safe in case?
No. Yeah, that's a good question. I did ride with my mom. She biked with me between
that's sweet, man.
Baltimore and D.C., and my dad joined me on one of those electric bikes when I went through New York. But I haven't
Doesn't
been,
count.
I've been on my own.
Electric
I'm like
bikes
your
don't
dad.
count.
I'm riding an electric bike.
I am a
hard.
cyclist. I am a I'm the
Nothing
only.
wrong with that.
I am the only cyclist on the program, and I hate electric bikes so much because people don't pedal; they just turn the gear.
It's easier. I like that.
It's a
Yeah.
motorcycle.
More fun.
It's a motorcycle at that point. Why? This guy's. He doesn't even have any
Well-
gears.
Yeah, the way I see it is if the electric bike's helping people get out and it's making it easier for them to exercise, then I think that's a net positive.
Okay, you're a nice person. This is a
So-
sweet man. This is a very good person.
So, Avery, it's interesting because it seems like this is a social media thing that has become a social media thing where you can, we've seen this for years where someone, and they usually involve the local news, right? Where you try to walk across the country, or you're riding a bike some insane distance, or like the feats of endurance, and on a
Grand scale.
a grand scale that on a vehicle that's maybe not equipped to go that many miles.
Well, like
right?
you take a motorcycle through the Arctic.
Yeah.
Not something you're supposed to do.
It's an adventure, and it's an endurance adventure, right? And then it's all to raise awareness. So let's talk about that. When you started making the plans to do this, did you have the goal in mind of raising awareness? Like, how did that all come about?
Well, originally I set out to get to Boston. That was my first goal. And then by the time I got to Boston, I kind of decided that I could do a further trip. I had all semester off because I was studying cooking, but my program ran out of money, so I had to transfer schools, and it's a whole big deal. But I had this time off, so I figured I might as well just keep going until I got bored. And by the time I got to Boston, I had already seen a lot of these nice trails that the Greenway had set up. And I figured that it would be, it's something different, and I think it would help generate attention for the Greenway. So I thought it would be, I would be remiss to not do some kind of public relations with it.
Yeah, you know what? One of the things that I think is most confusing for me and Tom and Sam here is that I don't know if we have anything in our lives, Avery, that we're passionate about enough. I'm being serious. I don't think we have anything, maybe aside from our families, but you have to take those out of play, right? Because I know Avery has a mom and dad. He has a family and maybe a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. But what my point is that Avery has that youth passion where he has something that he really is passionate about, that he cares about. Unicycling, being outdoors, cycling, enjoying bicycles just as a whole. And he wants to do something to make that better for everybody in the world. It's a selfless thing he's doing, right? We don't have any of that. You got anything you're willing to do for,
Well, for money.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I'll do anything for
Sam,
money.
you got anything? I got nothing.
If someone said, like, hey, I want you to, walk from Maine to Key West.
Okay, how much?
For
$50,000.
No, hell no. 50,000 is too little. I would have to be 2.5 million.
Christ, man.
I mean, that's a long walking. It would take me.
You have a big opinion of yourself, sir.
Avery, how long? Okay, where are you at now?
Right now, I'm in Vero Beach, Florida.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Getting close.
So I think I have about 300 miles left to Key West.
Oh, you should zip into a strip club in Vero on that unicycle and have some of the ladies of the night take
Most of
care
those
of
you
you.
got to be 21. He's
That
only
would
19.
impress. I'm telling
It's
you
only
right
19.
now, Avery, if you zip in there on that unicycle, I swear to God, those
No,
girls,
come on.
oh my God, they
Come on.
freak out. Next thing you know,
His dad's listening.
you're in a full-size champagne glass with a couple of ladies.
Avery, are you listening to anything like music or podcasts on your ride?
Yeah, I've been listening to a few podcasts and music, but it is always I'm always looking for new music. That's kind of the thing is once you listen to something for hours at a time, you gotta
switch it up.
I got a guy, Kanye West, real popular right now. Huge.
So
Not right now.
It's fine. So Avery. So are you staying, do you have like a budget for hotels and like where do you eat? Because I imagine you can't just eat fast food all the time,
Yeah. Well, I eat a lot of boxed mac and cheese when I'm camping and stuff. And I do camp along the way. I've got all my gear with me. And then I try to stay with people that I know or sometimes people will reach out to me ahead of time and be like, yeah, they'll offer me somewhere to stay. And if I desperately have to, I can get like a cheap motel, but it's really, only a last resort.
That sounds terrifying. Your only way to get away from a murderer is a unicycle.
Avery, every time we talk to someone who's doing one of these adventures, they always tell us the same thing, which I try to, get out there because a lot of people think the world's horrible, filled with horrible people that are always trying to get you. And everybody that we've talked to that does these adventures tells us the opposite and says that along their adventure, everybody tries to help them out.
Supportive, kind, giving food, money, places to
Yes,
stay, opening their homes, riding with them.
That the vast majority of people that they encounter are good. Have you had that experience?
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't do this without the generosity of everybody who's, helped me out. And I've just met so many incredible people along the way. I don't think I've had a bad experience meeting anyone.
My God, to be 19 and be this well-spoken and have a point, right? He has something to say. He's got a point. He's young. Man, you make me proud for the future. I'm like, we're going to be okay when I talk to a guy like Avery. I'm like, well, all right.
Avery's one in a million.
Yeah,
Now,
but
the rest of the million they're lazy.
Hopefully one day Avery will be in a point of power and help our country a little bit, help our world a little bit.
How many 19-year-olds want to do some amazing adventure that takes a lot of hard work? Nobody. Avery, that's it. I wouldn't even do it.
Most of them want to just watch the swaying boobies on Instagram and become an influencer.
So, Avery, also, let's back up a little bit. Was there any time during this adventure so far? I mean, now you're in Vero Beach, so I feel like once you hit
there, buddy.
Once you hit Florida, you're like, well, I gotta go down to
there's nothing but finish now.
But was there any time where you just like, man, it's too much? I'm like, it's too much time. It's taking too much. I think I'm bored as hell.
Yeah, next Ford Ranger I see, I'm throwing this thing in the back of it.
That's a good question. There have definitely been points where I've gotten, dejected about it. It was always really like city to city. so I'd get to Boston, and I'd say, okay, now I'm go to the next place, and so on. So there was always an out if I wanted it, but I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of locked into Key West, and that'll be the end point.
Hey, when you get to Key West, we work with a company called Fair Villa. Stop in there, mention our name, free butt plug. Tell them Dan sent you. I'm serious.
No,
I think.
Huh?
Yeah. The only time I've really felt like I wasn't safe or I didn't want to do the trip anymore was, there was a couple areas in Connecticut just above New York, and then there was a big stretch in South Carolina and Georgia where it was on really high traffic roads.
I wonder if the
they haven't
bike cops are as aggressive
completed the
in
trails.
Georgia as they are.
Yeah.
Have you had any hairy situations? So you've had only positive experiences. You've never had anybody, any stalkers.
Or someone throw something out the window at you.
Somebody hit you with a tuna can or
No,
something.
I think the unicycle is disarming to
I do
people.
too, yeah.
I agree.
I've heard a lot of negative things from other cyclists, but for me, because I'm up so high,
They're just
and
jealous.
because it's kind of unique, people give me plenty of space when they pass, and
I'm a
I think
cyclist.
they understand
Cyclists
that
are
they could
terrible.
really
They're terrible
hurt me.
people. They're terrible, and you are unique, and don't listen to them. You're doing it right.
I mean,
Hold your ground.
Avery, how many calories are you burning? Because
Oh, my God.
on the unicycle,
Have you seen him? He's fit. He's a
well,
fit man.
You can't coast, so it's not like you get to a hill and then you're like, all right, I can
Yeah,
coast.
it's
for
all legs.
You're pedal. You're constantly pedaling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't really keep track of my calories at this point. I just kind of eat whenever I get.
Neither do we. We're
hungry.
big fat slobs.
Yeah, but have you noticed you said over 2,000 miles? Have you lost a bunch of fat? Have you is unicycling that long?
I'm really not sure. I don't pay attention.
When
to
you're
that
19,
too much,
you don't look
but,
at your
Yeah,
body.
you surely don't. Yeah.
You're literally.
God.
I mean, this guy can eat.
He's eating mac and cheese every day.
He could
metabolism
ride.
is
He could
crazy.
ride this unicycle and eating taquitos the whole time and
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
He's got the.
God.
He's 19. He's
Go.
It's only,
We're dying.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm 46 years old.
I eat one mac and cheese piece.
Oh, if I have one of my, if I have one of my daughters, Hormel, tiny pepperonis, I get diarrhea. Can't do it. I can't do it. When's the last time you had diarrhea, Avery?
I'm not gonna answer that.
Okay, I like
Why
that.
would you
Stand
say
your
that?
ground.
That's right.
I told him that was a test. That was a
Create
test.
boundaries,
That was a
Avery.
test. Obviously,
Avery-
you're listening to me and you respect me.
Avery, there's one thing that I want to ask as a favor, because with any of these adventures,
Favor?
well, just
Yeah,
because
we get people on the line, we ask for favors.
here's we've talked to many people that have done these kayak adventures, these canoe adventures, walking, a lot of these things.
Stay away from the bat poop, Avery.
No, when they get to their destination, because it's
You
they're
need a
focused.
marching band.
We need people there clap, and then some sort of tape
We
that
can do
you go
that.
through.
Oh, yeah.
Call Deborah.
Yeah.
We can do it right in front of Fair Villa.
Because
Just pull it in.
Because every time, I see there's maybe you can get the news out there, but it's always you just roll into town.
No, you need to go through
And then you're drinking
the
some
ticker
water.
tape.
We need to pop champagne,
we need
confetti.
to set up some sort of crowd,
We
and
need
then
DeSantis down there.
DeSantis,
We need-
someone
yeah.
the king of the Conch Republic. Who's
We need the king of the Conch
Oh,
Republic.
yeah,
we need
forgot about
DeSantis. You pull up. DeSantis
Oh, they don't
slaps
get
the mask off your face.
They don't get along. So, is there anything do you have planned for a ending destination where there can be a crowd, your mom and dad,
You need to
some
at least
people?
do it at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, I don't have anything really like that planned out. I mean, my parents are going to meet me. My dad, of course, lives here, so it's not that big of a deal for him to get down there. But, I just kind of want to keep it chill on the down low a little bit.
No, you
No,
need
you need to-
Skyrider. You need a helicopter.
Avery, listen, I feel like
Fireworks.
We got to get the word out. That's how you raise the money.
You need a cake shaped like a unicycle made by Cake Boss.
Avery, I've been in the media for 20 years. I have
Oh,
an
wow.
understanding of how it's all BS,
Yeah, you
Avery.
might as well be an old man at JCPenney's.
And now I understand you know you're doing this for a purpose. And let's talk about like the awareness you're raising.
Yeah, you can donate to his Instagram, instagram.com/Avery_Suiter. That's SEUTER. So go follow him and donate.
Yeah, and you can help out the trail he's raising awareness for.
Well, I definitely appreciate everybody who's given money. It's far above what I expected, and it definitely makes a big difference to have these sorts of trails. You can tell when there are trails compared to when you're riding on the road. There's a lot more people out and a lot more different kinds of people. You see younger kids and older people and delivery bikers and all these different kinds of cyclists and pedestrians.
Sure.
Sometimes you even see like horses and cattle in the more rural areas. So it does make a huge difference, and I think it does a lot to make it more accessible to a wider variety of people.
And bottom line, it's also safer and
for trails,
yeah, for everybody.
Now,
exactly, yeah.
let's talk about the last thing, Avery.
Oh no.
I don't even know what that is. I gave him the dildo coupon. I talked about it.
No, let's talk about cheating and how you could cheat and
this
no one
man
knows.
is not a cheater.
No, I know
sir.
he's
can
not.
Hear it in
He's
his
been doing
voice.
this since September.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
This is a good, honorable American man.
But I've done these radio challenges where it's like I'll go from Tampa to Orlando on a scooter, blah blah blah.
you
like
throw it in the back of the
Yeah,
Ranger and you ride for a little while.
Exactly. Tunnel walks across Florida.
Fake.
Like it's just like while you're on the air and you're giving the interviews, you're on the trail. You're doing the news
you're
is
sweaty,
there.
You're holding your unicycle.
Yeah, you're like I'm here, and then when no one's watching, because inevitably people just lose interest and stop watching. So then you just get in the car or whatever, and then hitchhike. You go 30 miles. It saves you 30 miles of
30
unicycle.
miles. Oh my god!
Like, and then you get
a little AC, listen to some Dua Lipa.
and no one's doing the math. Like, if you all of a sudden are in Key West in 2 days, no one's like, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't compete. There's no way.
Nobody cares enough about anything.
And then you could just call us back once you get to Key West, which we want you. We want to interview you again once you're in Key West. But
geez, okay.
But nobody
He
will
doesn't
know.
wanna do that.
No,
He's like this.
He's like, oh, geez. Oh, gee, Willikers.
After
Well,
this
I got to
20
do this
minutes.
again. I don't know, guys. This doesn't really fit my brand. Goodbye.
I don't know.
That
if
is an
anybody-
interesting point, though, because as I said, the Greenway is not totally complete yet. There's big segments of it that are on major highways at the minute. They just haven't built out the trails yet. So there were segments of a few miles where, it would be deadly, and it has been deadly for people attempting stuff like this in the past, especially in South Carolina. And, there were definitely points where I did have to skip a few miles worth of road, but my total odometer is still 2,000, so I think, it's definitely a choice.
Don't
You heard it here
Don't
first.
you dare, Thomas.
You heard it
Thomas
on
Dan.
Dan.
You heard it on
We
Thomas
exposed
Dan.
Avery.
Exposed Avery Suiter
He
to
was
be
not-
the fraud that he is.
He was not on the unicycle 100% of the time.
We do it.
We watched.
This was a setup, and you fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. 46 versus 19.
You have to go back to the highway and ride down the
Start over.
highway.
Start it again.
Right.
We're joking.
But I do think it's good to be totally honest about that, because it does show, the state of the trail, and, I think it gives people an idea of what needs to be improved.
Fraud police are going to get you. No, I'm joking.
Hear that?
We're so stupid. I'm so sorry you had to do this.
Well, would it technically
Oh,
count
no.
if you got? Okay, follow me here, Avery.
If the wheel of the unicycle is on the ground and he holds it, it still counts.
No, or you unicycle onto a boat in Key West, and then you do that move where you just bounce back and forth. You do that back and forth move on the boat where you're in one position, but you're just doing the back and forth or whatever. So technically, you're that would be considered unicycle, and then you drive to Cuba.
Oh,
and you have
go to Cuba.
And you go to have the boat drive to Cuba, and then you can say Maine to Cuba world record.
Yeah.
And I unicycle the whole way, or we fashion some sort of tubes and
Oh my God.
although the current I think
Right.
goes towards Miami, that's how everybody got here to Miami.
We'll work it out. We'll work out the
hard to
details.
get. I don't think it takes you back to you. Anyway, so Avery, I want you, if you have time, to give us a call once you hit Key West. How long is it going to take from here to Key West, Vero Beach to Keys?
That's a good question. I'm going to shoot for sometime before the end of the month. I think this should be the last stretch.
Okay. Really?
There you go. He's confident.
Because, I mean, from Orlando to Key West, GD 8 hours. You know, it's like, basically 4 hours to Miami, and then it's another 4 hours from Miami to Key West.
But it's the only thing he has to do, so he's going to just chip away at it.
So, doesn't have to deal with traffic for the most part.
Well, have you planned, like, Key West, to get to Key West, you got to go across bridges, and I know there's some footbridges, there's a, like, an emergency lane on some of the bridges, but you'd have to ride your unicycle on the emergency. Have you thought about that, like, all the different bridges in the Keys?
Yeah, well, typically the bridges are a lot better for riding because on some of the, like, roads on flat land, you don't have as wide of a shoulder. But where they have those breakdown lanes, you've got plenty of room between you and the cars. So I actually prefer riding on bridges. And I know the trail out to the Keys has lots of very nice areas where that train used to run back in the 30s that it's converted into.
Don't worry about Tom. We're cyclists. I like bridge riding too, sir. Don't worry. He doesn't understand.
The one bridge, True Lies, blew it up a long time ago.
I go back and watch Jamie Lee Curtis in that once a year.
And then, if I was your parents, I'd be nervous because everybody's drunk driving in the Keys.
Or everywhere.
Yeah, but especially the Keys. Like, I'm riding a motorcycle on the.
That's why you got to get drunk to offset their drunkenness.
As your parents said, like, hey.
Be careful, Avery.
When you have they been worried about you and cars and whatnot?
Yeah, of course. I mean, any parent would be, but I think they've gotten. Well, I'll tell you, the very first thing I did when I left the driveway back in Maine was wipe out sideways, and I scraped up my arm, and I've still got the scar, but that was the only real knock on wood.
Wow, that was an omen.
And I think that kind of. That freaked them out a little bit to see that be the first thing I do. But now that I've been at it for a while, they kind of understand the risk and they're more comfortable with it, I think.
All right. Well, give them our best, and thanks for the time, man. We really do appreciate it. Well, yeah, good luck with it. We'll try to check back in when you get done with it, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, thanks for being on. And hey, man, in all seriousness, take me up on that butt plug, okay?
No, come on. All right. You don't want to talk about
all right, man. Be good.
Yeah.
Bye-bye now.
Oh, see
you made it awkward.
I made it awkward. You talked about the butt plug.
Well, I think that anytime you were just talking to someone on the phone about finding creative ways to weave our sponsors into content. I do it, and I'm the villain.
He's used to doing softball interviews with the news.
Yeah, the morning news.
You know what? It's time to grow
old
up.
Man newspapers.
It's time to grow up. Sorry.
Well, grow up. We're doing something weird.
He's a teen.
Yeah. He's like, what the hell's going on?
He knows what a butt plug is. Teens use those.
No, do they?
I think they do.
No.
The new teens do.
No, they don't.
Not the teens when I was a teen. When I was a teen, I still played with toys. When I was 13, I had action figures everywhere.
Yeah,
oh my God, is he still on the line? Oh no, he's gone. Okay.
Whew, I want my sons to want to do something adventurous.
You
like
keep
that,
saying that, and the more you say it, the more they're not going to want to do it. That's what I fear.
They don't want to do nothing.
You say it all the time.
Yeah.
You're like, I want them to do this. I want them to do. What is what they want to do? Because that's their adventure.
They don't want to do nothing.
Not even one thing.
They've been saying it since the beginning.
They don't like adventures.
So
they're tired of it.
They just want to sit? Well, you guys take them on too many adventures.
I know.
It's your fault.
Yeah, because they're tired of it.
They're burned out from all the adventures,
man. You can only go to
Hawaii
9 times before you say, Mom and Dad, we hate Hawaii.
Yeah.
Sucks.
They're like, we just want to stay home.
They're homebodies.
Yeah,
you guys are forcing them into adventure.
Andrea and I fight a little bit on that because me and Maisie are definitely more like homebodies. Like, if we get time to just, like, plop down on the couch and watch cartoons, that's what me and May do. 99% of the time. That's what she wants to do. Just plop and just sit. Because she's doing so many other things, you know? So but Andrea, like on the weekends, if I just want to sit around the house, she gets so mad and frustrated.
She works from home now, right? That's
probably
why.
She's like you. Oh, she drives it. We fight. And she's like, well, I'm just going out by myself. And she'll just go to Old Navy. I'm like, well, how was it? She's like, it was horrible. I was like, well, why'd you go? She's like, well,
gotta do something.
I'm like, I just don't feel that.
I can't.
I don't feel like I just have to do something to be doing something.
Crystal's the same way. She wants, like, her favorite thing to do is lay in bed and do nothing.
Let me lay in bed with your wife.
Sit on the couch and do nothing.
That's where the kids get it from.
It drives me. I'm like, I have to do something. What are we doing? We gotta go.
No,
go.
we don't.
Go. we have to
Stop.
like, I have to.
I love the way you scream.
No, but that's how I
got
feel.
So much urgency behind
I'm like,
it.
there's not enough time. Go.
Oh, you need to go to therapy. That's some PTSD.
Yeah, that's
because
it.
your dad died young.
That's
You got to live your life
But
before you
it's true.
die.
But that's true, right?
It is true, but you
It's
also
so
can't
short.
burn yourself out.
No. You just have to go.
Oh, Andrea gets so mad because I just
Do
like,
it.
she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to sit on the couch and pet this dog. And she's like, no, I have to do something. She's like, I'm going out to Millennia, then I'm going to go to Target, then I'm going to go to Old Navy, then I swing by IKEA. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That sounds miserable. That's work. You just gave me a schedule of work. You just told me I want you to go to the most populated areas and buy stuff. I'm like, no, I don't want to spend any money. I love my home. The internet and television is got a world of just documentaries and shows and stuff to do. You open the windows, you get a cold beer.
If I had unlimited money, I would pull my kids from school and get a tutor just to tutor them, and then
that's a nightmare.
I
Just
would
tour the world.
I would never stop going from one place to another, and I'd stay there for long periods of time, like a couple
That's
months
how you get
at a
the
time.
weirdo kids, though.
Nah, I know. They would
All
be,
those,
they'd be
I got some
weirdos.
friends that did that, and then they end up with a weirdo
It'd be
kid.
different if they enjoyed it, right? But they don't even like it.
No, I'd force them to do it.
So by the time they
It's
become
all for me.
adults, then they
Yeah.
just abandon mom and dad, and then they just stay at home.
Yeah. But I feel like they'd look back at it and be like, have a unique childhood where like we were everywhere. We got exposed to different cultures, and we just traveled all the time. But you're right, they'd be weirdos because you need to hang out with other people and
We're
understand.
social creatures, yeah.
Yeah, and then if you're not social with other people, then you grow up to be a weirdo. You don't have any tools to handle that.
That's a
Although
thing.
if you're in different places at all the time, you're forced to be social with different people. So maybe that. Anyway, I just want to keep going and do as much. I feel like I see it.
Yeah, the end. You can see the end.
Yeah, you're right. That is some weird thing because normal people don't live like this.
No.
Where they're just like,
This is going to sound crazy to you.
I feel like I'm just so close to dying that if I don't do it now, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I have the opposite. So where I have to go in and work on the pulling myself out of the depressive feeling of just holding, you know what I mean? Like forcing myself to do things.
Yeah,
Like, it's the
Yeah, even when
opposite.
you don't feel like it. Yeah.
Right, that's the opposite for me. It's crazy though that yes, that is 100% in your mind and something going on in there. Let's do a couple. We have a little bit of time here. Let's jump into a few of your voicemail messages. I think we got this one this morning or
BDM Carpet Guy here. I was just listening to the ACT, I Miss Drunky, and at some point in regards to Tiffany's bar, Dan says, we got Nubian Queens, Asian Princess. We got the big Pamela Anderson. You just reference queens and princesses, and then we, as proud Americans, get big Pamela Anderson.
Which she's not even American, by the way.
No, she's Canadian.
She's Canadian.
I guess I have to accept it. I'm sorry. The real reason I called was about your grass. I may or may not have had a problem with my local city code enforcement officer about dumping my carpet cleaning water in my grass. Long story short, I'm not allowed to dump here regardless of how green and glorious the grass may have grown. For a small fee, I can dump the same water
Is he reading
in
a
your
ransom
wolf-pissed
note?
grass and restore it to its natural beauty. Love you guys.
I think he's drinking.
What's going on there?
reading
He's
some
sipping
sort of-
the carpet
Oh,
counter.
maybe he pre-wrote his voicemail because he didn't want to mess it up.
That's good. I like that. Everybody should do that.
Also, how is some sort of person from the city watching you dump?
You know your neighbors are snitching on you if that happens. 100%.
Probably.
And
Yeah.
don't you have a backyard? Like dump it in the backyard.
Wow,
probably
we
trying to
tell
get it
you
down the
do that.
storm
You don't
drain,
do
right?
that. Where do you dump all your cat turds and your rat
Then
turds and your raccoon
Well,
turds? And
my neighbors are cool. No one's
You do have
ratting on
cool-
anybody.
you do have cool neighbors.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing something illegal.
Yeah. We all turn a blind eye at everything we're all doing.
you
That's
guys, are you
customary.
guys still trying to be a sovereign state like Texas? Wasn't your street trying to?
I signed the petition. But
Let's try this one. Wait, what were you gonna say?
like the code enforcement. People have problems with code enforcement, and I'm like, how are they? It's your neighbors reporting you. Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is doing that?
Well, it happened a lot growing
here's
up.
why I
Call
would
and be like,
tag.
this
Here's
person's
why
not getting.
Yeah.
you have a very unique situation on your block where all of you guys, I can name maybe 6, the ghouls, the new guys, the suntan, cats. Like you all get along. You're all friends. You're not gonna. You are in the minority. Most people, I feel like most people. Not saying not me. We're all in the minority. Most people fight with their neighbors. I think most people do. Or irritated by them.
Or they don't
talk to them.
at
They're
all,
not.
yeah.
I think there are a lot of people that feud with their neighbors. People get
Yes.
killed.
Yeah.
Remember that horrible video of that guy that came out and shot that lady dead in the street? And that was like his next door neighbor. People do this. If you look at North America,
that's why it's like a whole trope in like comedies.
Yeah,
of,
man.
Like,
it's
neighbors
like
hating each other.
Yeah, it's written into Home Alone. Like the neighbors are fighting each other. Julia Louis-Dreyfus or whatever, you know.
But that's got to be the minority, though.
No, I think it's the majority. I think most people
At least 50-50, I think.
like a divorce rate. Yeah. I can see that.
Oh, but I feel like most people want to get along with their neighbors and are willing to, like, even if
I feel like you underestimate pettiness of people.
Did your dad or mom, if you can remember, did your dad or mom feud with your neighbors? Mine did. My dad did. With his next door neighbor, they had a fence fight. They called the city on each other. I remember.
There may have been a couple calls.
I remember the man's name, for Christ's sake. He still lives there.
My dad got in a
go.
verbal argument with a neighbor, but he was holding like Cuban militia meetings at his house and then like digging stuff underground.
Yeah,
and,
building like a bunker.
Or he said it was for to work on his car, like you change the
like
oil.
a Jiffy Lube.
Yeah, like there's a trench and you get underneath it. But my dad is like, he's building a bomb shelter down there or something for the Cuban missile.
Hilariously racist, but okay.
Well, he'd look out my bedroom window and then see everybody who's dressed in fatigues and had M16s and stuff, and they were all drinking coffee, talking about invading Cuba. And
So what did he do? He called code enforcement?
I don't know. He called Miami police, and they're like, "Yes, that's what we're
It's going on all across the city, you idiot,
you gringo." Anyway, so I remember there was a little bit of that, but I think he didn't like the government or the cops. My dad didn't, so he just was mad about it.
Yeah, I think that's another thing.
Okay,
he's like, if they come over here and try to kill me, I'll kill them.
Look, I'm just doing what I know you like, which is we can only look at our own experiences and add the numbers up.
Call the cops the least amount as possible.
My dad feuded with our neighbors. My dad, I've told
About
you the story
what?
about it was over a fence line.
Mm-hmm.
My
that is
remember
a common
Papa,
thing.
remember my grandpa in the blinds? He was feuding with his neighbor over the level blinds he was going to sell. Remember, he put him in the backyard and burned him up in front of her. Like they were fighting. I'm telling you, it's gonna be the new sit stand. I think more people. I'm not saying feuding like you're fighting each other in the streets.
Right.
I'm just
don't
saying
get along.
Don't get along.
You gotta
I'm
beef.
saying that is the majority. I think either you are indifferent or fight.
Send us your emails about your neighborhood feuds.
Let's get into it because I've seen your videos on the BDM page. Remember the one that was a video camera of him, and he was turning his music up loud, and then the neighbor was like banging on the fence.
I mean, there's neighbors I don't like, but I just don't interact with them. And I also don't snitch on them, even though I know some things. I'm minding my business.
Yeah, but Andrea does. Does it count that Andrea calls code enforcement on the Jeep behind our house? Does that count? Our neighbor, that's an apartment neighbor.
Yeah,
it's not a town.
You know that person hates her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hate her.
But that Jeep is in a communal parking area. It's not really in your
Doesn't matter. Nobody else is calling.
Yeah.
She's the lady.
She's the
She's
one.
the old lady.
Just leave it alone.
No, she
just
can't do
let
it.
it
No,
sit there.
She can't do it.
What does it bother
She called a new one this morning.
Just let it.
I'm talking to you, Mr. Gold Lumina. She called on you this morning. You have.
Wait a minute. Tracy's saying
don't
that
look
she
at it.
called the damn code enforcement and reported that the fact that her neighbor butchered the oak trees. You can't cut your own damn trees now?
Oh, I got a new one. How long do we have? Andrea
Couple minutes.
caught a kid on Christmas Eve cutting a tree outside of the house with a machete he'd been gifted for Christmas.
Nice.
And then she called code enforcement and the police. And then when she came out the next day, the kid had done it again, and she confronted him to his face while he had the machete. I'm like, you're going to get your
dangerous,
head
dude.
chopped
What
off.
is she say? Yeah. Well,
She's like, you shouldn't be doing that. And he's like, I didn't do that. And she's like, you have a machete.
Well, technically, that's not his property. That's the
County's.
It's also Baldwin Park, and you pay a bunch of money a month.
I told her to stop messing with this machete kid.
to plant those trees and to make your neighborhood look nice. So technically, he's destroying property that's owned by Baldwin Park.
Hacked it good. It was hacked to pieces.
So that's a little egregious on the kid. It's like, I understand. Although I'd never get the cops involved.
But
or
you
code
would never
enforcement.
confront him, would you? People
Hell
were like, hey.
no.
Like she was like, hey, what are you doing? Like she did the whole thing.
I'm a kid. I may be like, don't chop the tree. That's for everybody. That's
Hey,
When he
George-
says, F you, old man.
Yeah.
Hey, George Washington.
Oh, I'll grab I'll run at a kid and be like, try to chop me.
He loves a challenge, folks. He loves a
I fight
challenge.
with kids all the time, and they try to hit me with
They're
baseball
shooting
bats.
teachers now. I wouldn't test them.
No,
I do-
6-year-olds.
I do this with the Wizard's son and Turkey Lake's
No,
son.
I mean a kid you don't know and you're gonna have to fight
With
him.
a machete.
No, well,
You're gonna pull your
I'm
pants
really-
down.
I'm really good fighting kids. I don't know how.
Okay.
I practice all the time.
We should start doing this at the Roxy. Do kid fights.
Well, I could take a kid with a machete because what happens
This
is
is insane.
I run
this is a
close,
little crazy.
and then when they try to chop me, the swing, that's like I dodge the swing, I juke the swing.
I'm not sure you could.
I saw you get beat down
This
with a
guy-
stick
He's
from
acting like
Seth.
he's dodging the,
No,
the
Seth,
swing.
You're not that fast,
He was
Tom.
acting
I
like
am.
he's dodging the sword in Game of Thrones or something.
I do this with my sons. They have weapons, and they try to hit me. and
Why
I-
are your children trying to kill you?
Well,
Yeah,
we
but
play
your
this
sons,
game,
and no offense
because
to
I'm like,
them.
you can't kill me, and then they try to hit me, and I dodge it.
That upper body
and then I
strength.
grab them.
I'm
And
gonna
then I
I'm
hit
gonna
him in the head with
piggyback on what Sam's saying. No offense to them, but your boys. I mean, I think part of the enjoyment you get out of fighting your sons is that maybe they go easy on you. I'm talking
Yeah,
about you need some athletic Deltona machete swingers, and you ain't gonna get.
man.
You
I
will
will
die
I will challenge any kid as 7 years old or younger.
to a machete fight.
And we'll do a wooden machete, but I bet you they can't even hit me.
A training blade.
Like I'll get in the room with them, and then because the first swing, I'll dodge it. Because kids, they're dumb. They're not trained. They'll swing
This
at
kid
me,
was like 12.
and then when they
This
miss,
is not a 7
yeah,
and younger.
12.
Yeah, this is a 12.
They're a little faster.
Yeah.
You gotta
They
get
got
them when
they got some reach.
Yeah.
And all it takes is
12
you to
is a-
slide out of your flip flop one time, and he's hacking your arm off.
They won't go through the bone. Like if they may,
Like Apocalypse Now when they are cutting that ox.
they may get
And you
me.
can see the fat striations in there. What are they? I don't even know what they're called. We got to get out of here.
All right, bye.
That was a wacky segment. I enjoyed it a lot, though.
Ridiculous.
All right. Don't we have another one in 20? Is that our last? No. Yes.
We got Jordan Foley in 20, unless he's
I
already
should
there.
film a video. I'll give both my sons sticks, and then I'll
yeah.
If they touch me, I lose with the stick. I'm telling you.
Again, I don't know that your boys are the best examples of athleticism.
Yeah.
Well, you know their ways, too. You know, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
You
yeah.
need an unpredictable Deltona swinging
Well,
machete
yeah,
swinger.
well, you know.
Let me get you a little Taft 7-year-old.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh.
Listen, the Wizards kid, Turkey Lake's kid, they're animals.
Where's
They're
this go, Sam? Thursday.
they're swing crazy with all their might.
1 and 2. Thank you. What is this?
Do an unboxing.
All right, who is next, and where?
Jordan
are we gonna put him?
Foley.
Jordan Foley.
And he may or may not be bringing his guitarist.
This is Thursday 1 and 2.
Yes. And possibly his lead guitarist, Tyler.
No call.
But I'm not 100% sure if he's bringing Tyler or
good.
not. But just so Tom can write it down.
And we'll do this for Friday 2.
Okay.
Do it for Friday 2. And then Moon Hooch.
And we gotta keep it kind of tight because at 1:30 we're zooming with Moon Hooch.
Yeah, Moon Hooch will do for
That one's going to be hard, y'all.
Tuesday. Moon Hooch?
I think so.
I'll talk to him about we can get a good amount out of just the traffic cones in the.
The allergies, man, they're fucking my voice up today. Okay. Mike Guzman Music in our YouTube page says Tyler was advertised to be there on Jordan's social, so he better show up or I want a refund. That's funny.
Well, then Tyler will be here.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, thanks for giving us the extra info. That's awesome. I'm going to get some water.
time is that?
At 1.
Oh, I wish I had a Diet Coke.
No, I told you.
I need it.
Why do you have 2 glasses in front of you?
No.
You like double fisting.
I just didn't clean it up.
There is one in here.
Uh-oh.
There's one.
Yeah, of course
Daily,
I do.
daily. Now you're enabling him. He said no more today.
Daddy found you the last one.
No.
Don't ever
man.
say I don't love you.
You're like 600-pound life, the enabling mum. Won't stop feeding her son.
But she lost all the weight. What a selfish bitch.
Okay.
Oh, so good.
Tyler?
What's this guy's name?
Jordan Foley and Tyler Hood.
Jordan Foley? Jordan Foley.
And the Wheelhouse. That's the name of the full band.
Jordan Foley and the Wheelhouse.
Their single comes out this Friday, January 13th,
Do you think...
called Loners.
Let me talk this out with you, Daniel.
Mhm,
So, does Miami start Tua in the playoffs against the Bills? Because I could see the argument
I think they do.
that I believe and other people believe. They're like, well, with all the injuries in the NFL, the last thing the NFL wants is Tua to get another concussion.
Oh,
or have
you're
some
saying
sort of
that
problem.
the NFL is going to put pressure on them to not start him?
But then I say that
I don't want to believe that narrative because that ruins everything for me.
But there's also, as long as he passes they put extra concussion protocols, but he'll probably pass them. It's like people think concussions are way worse than they are. Like concussions,
Yeah.
not only did they used to happen, 50 a time in games and back in the 90s
Everybody's
or whatever.
against what I said. Everybody in the chat room thinks that
But-
he will not play.
And
I think he will.
see, but as
I'm
long
going to go with you need your best shot.
and there's stuff that the NFL can't do because there's a players association, right, which is for the players' rights. So there's a lot more involved than just the NFL. The NFL just can't step in and tell them not to. As long as he passes the protocol, he can play.
He was ruled out already.
Oh, there.
Casey saying.
How would you guys pronounce this name? Wenzel? Wenzel?
Wenzel.
Who's that?
That's one of the people we'll be talking to from Moon Hooch later.
Okay.
Wenzel.
Michael and Wenzel.
Michael Winslow.
Yeah, Michael Winslow.
Michael and
Michael-
Wenzel.
I do a saxophone sound effect.
Woo!
It was a lumpy burp.
Oh, so
That was gross.
he's already been ruled out. So
Yeah.
I bet the line is
Went nuts. That's the
Jumped up.
If only you could quit your job and gamble all the time. You find it.
because it went down to 9.
Did you get it?
No. Well, I'm not. Well, I did tease the Bills down, and that's what it did when it got down to 9. Because
Tease my bills down.
Whoa! Don't say that. He'll think you're seducing him.
Let's see what it is now. But it went back up to 10.
The Tua thing doesn't make any sense to me. I think that, and I know that it's too far gone. I already can hear what you're going to say, but I think you just need to. You have to do your best to make sure everybody's safe, and you have to just let him play until he's dead. It's the only way to do it.
Jordan Foley. Hey, Tom. Nice to meet you, Tom. Thanks for having us.
Jordan, what's up, man? Daniel, pleasure to meet you.
Jordan Foley.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in, y'all.
Absolutely. Thanks
You
for
guys look
having
so
us.
familiar.
So do you. Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've met at some
Probably
point.
at some point.
We're live on Twitch right now, so just come on in, make yourself at home, get a drink, use the restroom, do whatever you got to do.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody's saying I'm an idiot, and yeah, but I'm serious. I think that you should. You at this point, the only way to solve all these problems is you just have to let them play until they're dead, and you have to let them sign it saying, yeah, I play this, and this is what I do, and if I die doing this, the NFL's not held responsible because I chose to do it.
Yeah.
The chat wants to know if Tom washed his booger hoodie.
I put it underneath my desk.
He put it under his doo-doo hoodie.
to take home and wash it. But the problem is
It's settling in now.
Every day I forget.
Oh, and the boogers get harder and harder.
And the longer I leave it there,
It's going to be like glue.
The longer it will stay there because every day, like I have some sickness where if I don't do something, then my sickness makes me not do it.
Wait, you have
what happened to go?
Well, that's the
but not for actual responsible things, just for fun.
Yeah. I want to only have fun when it's like I don't have that same feeling of go when it comes to like the things I should do, like wash stuff
hygiene.
Do you ever look at your dirty legs and you're like, go, let's go?
No.
Wash them.
It's all doesn't matter. It doesn't.
At this point, if
me.
you started washing them, would the skin fall off?
They're fine. They're clean. You could eat a meal off my legs.
Yeah, with the
No,
leftover
thank
food.
you.
Yeah.
My legs are super clean.
I bet I have cleaner legs than you.
I also don't do anything.
I know I have cleaner legs than you because I wash in diluted Clorox every night because I'm a dirty boy.
We don't do anything dirty though. Like besides from me
You're
doing
like always
yard-
climbing on your roof.
Yeah, you're always
digging holes.
He's always playing football and wrestling his sons and punching them in the dicks.
I'm talking about
Making them suck your titties and stuff. Like you guys are
What the
fucking
hell are you
weirdos
talking about?
out there sucking titties in the grass.
Anybody who works as a mechanic or any blue collar job where you're just dirty all the time, like that's different.
Dirty all the time.
We're sitting here in a clean studio talking on a mic.
Not that clean.
Coughing boogers all over your legs.
Poo poo everywhere.
What is this thing? Is that our?
That's our Mo sign.
All right.
Getting things done.
The big.
It is big.
Well, it's packaged big in case the corners got smashed, so the thing wouldn't get smashed. It's 2 by 2.5. I'll put it up tomorrow when I bring in my. I've got those things, those little blades, those tent blades. I do tent. And after this, I go home. I leave here at 3:30, and I go open up. I have a little shop right up here. It's called Extreme Audio Designs. It's called Extreme Audio Designs with a Z. And I can put in stereos. I do tent. I do radar detectors. I hide wires. I do full body wraps. I do PFP. I do street glow. Basically any aftermarket parts you want on your import tuner I specialize in.
We should start another business and just market
Yeah,
it
let's
to
do
our
another
listeners.
one.
We need another one.
No, because that is like we market it directly to our own listeners, and like imagine
Just like our AT&T.
Extreme Audio Designs.
Well, that's they
they don't
want
to
of
stay
flaws.
there.
Like,
Who knew these big fat slobs wouldn't like cum?
we
Or
want
noise.
I
guess.
thought they'd eat anything.
most of our audience too close. They,
Oh, did we renew our Sunbiz?
Ew.
That's
Do you
on
want
the
me to put
list.
that on my list? I can do it.
That's one of the things he doesn't like to do.
We have until March.
Oh, we're fine.
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
plenty
yeah.
of time.
It's like the
I'll
whole
do it
March
end of
too.
February.
Then you're gonna
Yeah.
leave for your summer or your spring break, and then it's gonna lapse.
I'll think about it when I'm in there. I'll be like, oh yeah, I gotta do that.
When you're on the slopes.
But then it's almost like my mind wants to push
Slope biz.
the responsibility out because
Push it out.
it sucks to have that lingering in the back of your mind of like, I have to do this thing, go on the biz, pay the thing, put my credit card.
Should we tell them
yeah.
to come in? Or they
You guys can come in if you want. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were like sound checking out there.
Yeah. We want to give you time to do your thing, man. Like bringing in instruments and stuff like that. That's a pain in the rear end. So we know what that's like. Put one of you guys on this guy.
Hello,
One of
hello.
you guys on this guy. Thanks again for being here, y'all. Who were we talking to today that said they wanted to work with
Oh, it's Forrest.
Forrest? Do you know Forrest? I don't know
I don't know his
Forrest's
last name, actually.
Yeah. He has
Yeah,
a
he does,
red
yeah.
mullet.
Photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy.
Photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
All right, we got that.
He was jealous that we were having you in.
Yeah, he was. He was
Oh,
like,
really?
cool. I was like, oh man, like he was like blowing us up like about like, oh, well, I've been dying to work with that guy, and I'm like, well, we are. So there you go.
You know how it
in your
goes.
face for it. All right, let's make sure our cameras are looking good and everything. Again, we appreciate you guys being here, man.
Thanks for having us.
That's
We
the
reached,
main
we
one
reached
on
out. We're
you.
honored to be here.
That's you.
Okay.
We're still trying to get these back to in a different way, where we can
And you're on. This is on YouTube as well.
YouTube and Twitch, yeah.
Okay. And I put the YouTube link on.
That'll work.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yeah, Mike Guzman Music has already commented.
That's our keys player.
That's Mike.
All right. He's there waiting.
He's in the YouTube chat right now.
He's like, where are they? They're late.
I better get a shout out.
Shout out.
And this will air on the radio tomorrow and the
Cool.
podcast.
Do you know what time?
It'll be
Around 7:30.
7:30
7:30.
tomorrow. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, Mr. Van, we got you guys have microphones. You got there's headphones behind you. If you want them, you can wear them.
Sure.
If you don't want to, especially when you're playing, you might want to ditch them or whatever. I usually just run things through here and we just do our best. You know, we try to keep it quick and dirty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're good. Do you need anything else, buddy?
No,
I think we're good. I'm losing my voice today. Well,
Yeah,
be careful.
the allergies and then
The Mountain Dew.
And Zyrtec
The
does
nuts.
not.
Weather change.
This is the best thing you can drink for your vocal cords. It's absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Totally beats out honey and tea.
Yeah,
Like,
and any of that. And then you add
Ricola,
that.
it beats it all.
I like to put this on a Zyrtec, 2 to 3 tabs.
Yeah.
Dry it out real good.
Yeah, you got to do your chords. That's the way professionals do
Nobody wants nodes, man.
I had those too. My
I'm
God.
afraid of them. That's
Yeah,
like my,
you should be afraid
my
of
biggest
them.
nightmare.
Well, you're not
Anytime-
old like me. I just have pre-nodules. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
It's like
You got
I
pre-nods?
couldn't even get a full-blown nod.
I got them
I had to get the
pre-nodules.
pre-nod, the tiny little mosquito bite nod. All right.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
I hope so. It hasn't been fun all day.
It's only fun before we start
Yeah.
recording.
Before we start.
When we
It's
start
all
all
business.
serious.
Yeah, then we're starting. We have 2 of the insurrectionists here. All right, here we go. Would you
Okay.
like to start?
Sure.
All right, here we go, buddy. 3, 2.
Welcome back to a corporate time in studio. We've got some guests that a lot of
Got some buzz.
Mo's photographer was excited about, and a lot of people on our YouTube.
Yeah, and we
Twitch.
were excited about this. We had people reach out and say that we should have these people on the show. Also, we had a resolution in the new year to try and get more and more music artists in the studio because we really do like that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
when we have bands come in here or singer-songwriters, it's like, I don't know, it's like I love to be able to have the person tell their story and then play some music, and I will defer to you now, sir.
Yep, from Jordan Foley in the Wheelhouse. We've got Jordan and Tyler in studio. How you guys doing?
Hey,
going on,
great,
fellas?
man.
Thanks
Happy
for
to be
being
here.
here,
Yeah,
y'all.
Thanks for
thanks for
having
having
us.
us.
So, kind of give me the background of how it started, Jordan.
Yeah, so I've been playing music around town for about 8 years. And over the course of, since 2019, I realized that, the music that I had been writing needed to have more than just me on the songs. Like I started hearing it when I was playing my songs out and about, where I was like, man, I need a band. And so I went one by one trying to get band members. And ironically enough, the dudes that I grabbed all had been in a previous band with another artist.
Oh, wow.
And
Kanye West.
We can't disclose it.
Okay. Yeah,
all right.
it's
That's
not
fair.
disclosed.
That's
Not
fair.
disclosed,
That's
no.
fair.
A previous artist. And one by one, I ended up grabbing like a full-blown rock band.
That's
So-
cool though, but they have chemistry, right? So
Oh,
if they play
like-
together, like as I'm a drummer, but
Right.
like there's certain bass players that that's
Oh,
my
yeah.
guy.
Oh, yeah.
And that will always be my guy. I play with other guys, and it's just it's good, but it's just not the same.
Doesn't fit like that same old worn-in hoodie or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
or
just
where
like,
you can
oh.
actually detach your brain and play
Oh,
without
yeah.
necessarily
Yeah, yeah.
concentrating on
Yeah, everything's real tight already.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
I lucked out.
Man, you did
I'm
luck out.
honestly like the luckiest like musician. In
That's
life,
crazy, though.
I'm just very lucky.
I love that.
So, Jordan, I'm
Yeah.
curious because I hear comedians all the time, and I've heard this before, where they'll write stand up but they'll think it's funny and like this will work, even if they're accomplished and they've had a lot of reps. But they'll tell me I won't know if it truly works until I perform it in front of an audience,
Yeah.
and then I'll know if it's funny. And it's always weird to me because I'm like, man, don't you have enough experience to know if it's good or not? Like but they always tell me I need the live audience because they'll laugh at things I didn't even expect. And I'm curious if that's the same way with writing music. Like you write a song, you think it's good, and you're like, oh, people like this, but you need the audience or you need someone to hear it to tell you.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think typically I try to prep ahead of time if it's not good enough in my eyes. Like if it's not something that I would want to listen to, I'm not going to give it a chance. So
Okay.
I'll move on from the song. But there is a level of I do like, especially at bar gigs, when like you kind of win the crowd over because bar gigs they're like it's a crapshoot to be able to get people's attention.
Yeah.
And so I make it a point as almost like a game to be like, okay, how can I like, what kind of songs do they want to hear? And then by the end, and then it gets towards a certain point where I'll be like, do you want to hear an original? And then sometimes I'll throw in a new one just to test it out. And it is very much like stand up where it's like, let me just give this a shot. It's like it's like an open mic would be a good for that.
Yeah.
I really take the time to, but I won't play it unless it's like somewhere. Like if it's like if it's where I want it to be, I won't give it. I won't.
Gotcha.
Give it a shot.
And then I feel like the opposite of that, which we hear all the time, where a band will come up with a song, just like a throwaway song, and they don't even like it that much,
it's
and
a
it'll
crowd
be
favorite.
and it'll be what their number one hit is on the album,
Or
and then they have to play it every time.
And they actually end up growing to resent it, and they're like, we hate this song because
And then every song, someone in the audience yells it out after every song. You're like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get to it.
We talk about
the creep
creep
effect.
Yeah, the creep effect by Radiohead. Look at us. Hey, look at us. The creep effect by Radiohead. They're very much like, oh, we hate playing creep. We won't play it. But it's like, dude, that's your number one hit, man. Like
everybody loves it.
That's your moneymaker.
Like, but we've grown
so
much.
So you have to get to a point where it's like you wanna play the songs that you have. Like especially with the new record that we made. We're very excited because we've been listening to it, and like it's an album that we wanted to listen to, and one that we wanted to write first and foremost. And like we really lucked out through the whole recording process. But ultimately, like now that we have the tracks, and we've had the tracks for months now, that like it's been like we're just really listening to it. So we're hopeful that if we like it that much, then everybody else hopefully will too.
That's awesome. I mean, the reality is if at the end of the day we don't like it, then what was it all for?
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Right.
Like, this could go everywhere or nowhere, or like, who cares?
That's
but
what I tell my wife every night when I go home. I'm like, I don't like this. Why am I doing this? I don't even like them.
How's your day, hon?
Yeah.
Damn it, Tom.
It does seem like there's an element of like anytime you hear like a comedian, it always tells me, oh, that guy's poor. Because
it's really good.
The public wants puppets.
They want Dane Cook.
They want the lowest common denominator, the easy. They want I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. They're like, I like that.
Digestible.
I understand creep and weirdo.
Don't sing about anything controversial.
Right.
Don't sing about your own feelings. Certainly don't sing about death.
No.
Because no one's
Political
compartmentalized
opinion.
that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you though, like I want that. I want the creep
the friction.
effect. Like,
Never mind.
I want the success for one song. That'd be awesome. Like,
Finally, an honest musician, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
We wouldn't have to do these kind of interviews on my lunch break.
Yeah, this is like both of our lunch breaks right now, like from work. Like we both have full-time jobs. And you guys know Stackhouse. I've known Nick Muchagrossos for like 12 years.
Awesome.
They're good to us. They're good
his
guys.
His now wife was my girlfriend in college's roommate, and we were all really good friends. So like,
crazy.
he and I've been tight for a long time. So yeah, those dudes like work full-time jobs as well. So it's a hard,
they're so nice.
It's a hustle.
They're great.
They're good.
Yeah,
dudes.
yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, I will give them a huge compliment. Oklahoma Stackhouse. What's cool about those guys is they're adults.
Yeah.
So when you talk to them, there's no flimflammery.
Nope.
I know I sound
One's
like
an attorney.
I know I sound like a dumb old man,
yeah.
but like it's
they
just,
come in with like suit and tie.
they're
like,
ready to go. Like they're
exactly.
pros. They're just so professional.
It's-
And in a day and age when you don't get a lot of that,
Yeah.
Right.
because things are a bit more relaxed. If you look at influencer culture, I'm not bagging on. I'm just saying it is a more. It's certainly not as organized. It's a lot more relaxed.
Sure.
When people come to do interviews and stuff, it's very casual. Those guys are not. And I appreciate that because I'm a little old school when it comes to doing things.
Right.
So when you get the plot, you get the plan, you know what you're up against, you have the set list, the time, everybody's on time. It goes a long way with me.
The randomness of it all frustrates me, and Jordan, tell me if it frustrates you too, because like I see things that will just randomly get popular on social media or the TikTok, and like that's a new way to market yourself, where it's kind of like a lottery ticket, where it's impossible to make it happen, but randomly, if you win the lottery, your song could go viral, and next thing you know, it's got 5 million views, and 5 million people have been exposed to your music, which would be huge for your career.
Now it's Jordan Foley and the Island Boys.
Exactly.
Well,
we just kidding about the tattoos.
I think about that
How
nerd.
do they know?
My money don't jiggle.
right.
That nerd.
You need a jiggle.
Yeah, that guy got. I mean, you know how big they're used in a commercial.
He was famous before that.
Was he?
Yeah. He's a journalist.
Yeah.
No, okay, well, journalist. Was he really?
that
No,
came from
But now he's a
with
musician.
Yeah, now he's
that
like,
came from like 7 years ago.
I'm not. I couldn't name one other journalist. So it was like Barbara Walters dead.
Yeah.
But I was like, anyway, it's like he comes with the goof song. It spreads. Now that's funny, and I understand that. But I've seen other songs just catch popularity, and it spreads across YouTube or Twitch or TikTok, and then it just becomes huge. And
well, it's happening right now. I'll give you an example. The guy Jelly Roll.
Right.
He has a song, and I'm not calling him out or a liar or anything. I'm just saying he says that he had a throwaway song that he didn't think would do anything. It's kind of like more him singing, more country radio hit, and he put it out there, and he got it on TikTok and Instagram, and it started getting huge, and now it's on country radio, and it's a massive hit. Personally, though, I don't believe a word of that narrative. I think you know what direction you're going in. You're a smart entertainer, and you knew. I mean, but
press does a
calculated.
Lot, and press can do a lot,
and you should stay humble. And he seems to. And I don't want to.
We actually get asked to cover Jelly Roll, and we haven't yet.
It just recently came onto my radar.
Yeah, somebody was like, "You guys play Jelly Roll?" And we're like,
it's getting big.
Like Tootsie Roll, and like my head like went back to like the '90s. I was like, "Is that like a thing?" Yeah, but now
now he's doing like country music. Now he's singing. And it will work. I think he's finally found his lane, like his money lane. Like I think he's gonna start cashing in huge.
To kind of go off on both what you guys are talking about, there is a very much a mainstream of country music.
Yeah,
that like it gives off this like glitz and glam and aspect. Nashville, Broadway, like everybody sounds the same. To be honest with you, like, and it's like this formula works. So if this formula works for as long as we can, we're gonna milk the hell out of it. And we've been kind of put into this like country rock Americana. We like to call it Americana because there's so many influences across the board genre wise, but there is like a country rock element. And I think that differs from like that mainstream Morgan Wallen kind of like, Luke Combs. I know you like Luke Combs, but like Brian. Like,
I like Luke Combs too.
Yeah, Luke Combs is great.
His place.
He's great. But in like Stapleton, it's awesome. So we're big fans of Zach Bryan. Like Zach, if you haven't listened to Zach Bryan, like you got to give that dude a shot.
All right,
give that dude a listen.
I'll do it.
He's on the up and up, but his music isn't being played on the radio yet.
But he's still holding like number one
charts
and stuff.
Yeah.
Radio.
And he got
who cares about that? but
he's
on TikTok.
He got started on TikTok though. Like he was doing TikTok videos of him sweating his ass off in the backyard, just playing his songs that he wrote, and they really pulled your heartstrings. And now he's like. Came out with a 30-song album last year. We went to Greenville Music Festival last year and got to see him play. And so like artists like that, we really try to emulate that aspect of it because we're not so worried about the mainstream aspect of things. You're not gonna find me writing songs about tailgates and solo cups and whiskey. Well, okay, that's a lie.
Those are three things I like.
Damn it! Who wants to make money doing this?
No, but like,
do you have creep weirdo with it? All the things.
Yeah, exactly. So we, there is a level of like, there's a level of authenticity to what we're writing. Do we want people to hear it? Do we want to build a following? Absolutely. I mean, that's why we're here.
Sure.
We want to get people to listen to the music. But there are ways of like, shit, if we strike big a little bit, like somebody hears like one lick or like one chorus, then we're just gonna ride that wave. That's what we're gonna do.
That's called the 311. I'm serious. If you look at those guys, and it's one of my wife's favorite bands. And we don't really go back to it. It's funny how sometimes your favorite band just has to stay your favorite band. You can't really go back to it because it doesn't hit the same way. But I will say that if you look at those guys, still touring, cruises, popularity, they have their core. The core cashes in, and they are just fine. They are sailing into the stratosphere.
Yep. So let's talk about that because I'm curious. Essentially, you're a small business. This is, you have full-time jobs, both of you, same thing.
Yeah, we're ruining their lunch break.
Like Oklahoma Stackhouse, I know.
Oh, shucks.
But Oklahoma Stackhouse and stuff, and the other bands we talk to, like they have full-time jobs, and this band is a small business, and they run it like a small business. They try to get promotion, gigs, and expose themselves.
Book, organized budget. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering if they've you have a plan where something does happen, because all it takes is for someone to take you under their wing or to even tweet about you at this point or put you on social media.
Could be anything.
Or one of your songs blow up on social media. And then it's like, do you have like almost a bug out plan where it's like, all right, if that happens, then this is where we should go with it.
Right,
because some people, if you don't have a plan, then
you miss it.
Then you miss it. It's like, all right, I got those popularity, but I'm like, I still got to work. And what the hell do we do?
I had a couple opportunities to go to LA to do radio gigs, but I was always locked into something like that. I thought I couldn't kill here. Yeah. So it helped.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great question, dude. That's a good one. Do you guys have something like that?
I'd say you go off.
I'd say at the very least I've got the 2-week notice pre-written. No,
because it's what you want to do. Yeah,
and they know it.
2 weeks. Screw that. You gotta go
right now.
Our companies are aware though. Like I actually got my most. I just started a new job in July, and they I interviewed, and the whole reason I got the job was because somebody saw our band play at Sanford Porch Fest last year.
No, really?
Yeah, and they came across my LinkedIn account, and they saw this old shot of me with like clean cut, less of a beard, less hair. And they sent me a message and were like, "Is this you? Do you do web content?" And I was like, "Yeah, I actually do."
You have an OnlyFans? Oh my god!
right.
My god! Like, are you hiring? And they're like, "Yeah, we're hiring." So I was like, "I got a new job."
That's awesome.
Like, it really worked out.
And they probably
so are you in the tech world? I don't want to blow up your
successful.
spot. Are you in the tech world and also the Americana world?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I used to be a middle school English teacher, so I did that for about 5 years. Yeah.
Why would you want to be a teacher? It's so dangerous. It's scary.
It is now.
It's not easy. I
taught. My mom was a lifelong educator.
I taught at a private school, boarding school, and I lived on campus for 5 years. So coming right out of college, when you have like free rent just to like work and live on campus, that was great. But once I started like diving into the music more and wanting to play gigs and shows, I was like, there's more to life than just this bubble of a private school.
Did you ever play for your students? Like,
yeah. I was
Were you the cool guy?
I tried.
Are you
I don't know if I was
You're
cool.
School of Rock.
Yeah, I tried to be the Jack.
Did you make like
Jack
educational
Black
songs?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sits in the chair backwards. Like, all right, kids. Yeah.
Sometimes the dean,
Onomatopoeia.
the dean of the middle school would be like, "Jordan, we need some entertainment for this this hall meeting that we have with the students. Could you bring your guitar in and just sing a couple songs?"
Can we have a couple?
like
a
and
yeah.
one Santeria, one brown-eyed girl. That's it.
Speaking of, do you guys want to play a song
Yeah,
for us?
yeah.
before
Look,
you
I'm
go?
gonna tell you right now,
We
I'm
only
at-
got a few minutes left.
I'm having so much fun talking to you
Yeah,
guys.
it's
We're
great.
almost going to skip the song. So let's have you back again at some other point.
Absolutely.
Because I want to talk about...
Are you guys playing Porch Fest this year?
We
Yeah.
are.
All right, we'll have you back for
Yeah,
that then.
so February we're pretty busy.
Yeah.
We got Anna Maceris over in Brooksville.
Okay.
Thomas Wynn from Thomas Wynn the Believers
Yeah.
produced
Love
our
this
album.
guy. Yeah, oh my God.
So shout out to Thomas. And then we do have a single release show for our first single comes out this Friday. It's called Loners. We'll play that. And then our next single will be February 17th called Our Last Dance. That night we are playing at Will's Pub with Joshua Ray Walker and Mike and the Moon Pies.
You're playing with Joshua Ray Walker, the bigger guy.
Big dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
I bought his
Amazing.
album when it... Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Amazing.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God. I might have to
So
go to
Friday,
Mike and the Moon
February
Pies.
17th.
He talks to me on Instagram. What a sweet man. He
Sweet
was
guy.
on The Tonight Show.
Yep.
And it
Okay.
really didn't get blown up. And it was some Corona protocol BS that messed it up
Right,
for
right,
him.
right.
And he's so nice. What a nice...
He's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And his voice, my
Yeah.
Lord
Oh,
in
he's got
heaven,
pipes.
We
sings
couldn't
like an
believe it.
angel.
We were going to be there regardless
Yeah,
of
we were
if
gonna
we
buy
playing
tickets
the show.
anyway.
Wow.
Like,
And
what
then
if we can play it?
Will Walker was
That's awesome.
Will Walker was like, "Oh, you got a single coming out? Yeah, we'll put you on the show. That'll be great."
Dude, that is
Will.
that's a nice
Thank you.
snag, man.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're very
I want to
excited
make sure I
about
was
it.
hearing that correctly.
Yeah.
We played him on our show before. He's
Yeah.
yeah, and we're gonna play you guys on our show. But hey,
Yeah,
let's
right
get to
on.
the song. Let's
Yeah,
do some
where
music.
can people find the new single that's coming out
So
Friday?
it'll be everywhere.
Okay.
Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Napster. I don't know.
Love it.
Tidal.
Yeah. I gotta
it'll
see
be.
it.
It'll be.
LimeWire.
It'll be
you know.
everywhere. Yeah, LimeWire. Because
Share
no,
there.
it'll be. Yeah, it'll be mainly Spotify, please.
Okay.
Because that's where that's where you get the.
You got to
listens
funnel the
and,
traffic somewhere.
You got to
know.
funnel it to somewhere, and that's where we're trying to gain traction. We're going. We have 6 songs in the work. Ready for release. We're going to be releasing them one at a time. All 6 songs by August. We'll have all the songs out.
Okay.
We're trying to milk it because we really believe that each song is really solid in its own. So while it's a collective album, we want to be able to push them out individually.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so you're going to play that single for us today.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
We're
it.
gonna put him on the
Grab
spot.
my guitar.
We're gonna put him on the spot right now and make them do it in front of us.
Do it.
I've often wondered what it would be like if you and I had to carry guitar. We should do this as a gimmick next time we're promoting something. We should bring guitars, but never say a word.
Just put like a condenser mic in the guitar
case.
case.
And see if like, do you think Johnny's house or any of these shows we're on would be like, oh, you have guitars? And
I'm like, no.
These are just our walking guitars.
We just bring these.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Let me. They're gonna. We can turn that around. We're gonna do our best. This is called editing on and mixing on the fly.
On the fly.
So like put the mic step like a little further away so that
You'll be all right. That'll be fine right
Ooh, some reverb.
Yeah,
on
you
that.
got to do that. Gotta act like we're at college radio.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey everybody, welcome back to
right, ladies and
WPRK. This is Dan Dennis.
This is a band that they're juniors here in college.
All right.
All right, so ready to roll?
Yeah.
Cool. This is Loners.
Go.
Lately life has been pretty easy, and everything's been going my way. When the city lights, they guiding me through, except for when it comes to you. I can't stress this anymore, and I'm gonna walk out that door. When this bad love ain't doing no good, I simply wish you understood. I'm a loner on the road, going down it all alone. I don't need you anymore to muck up and fuck up in this course. Oh, you think you got it all figured out, like it's a marathon with all the doubts. Well, the forest is calling me, so just go and let me breathe. Well, I don't like it when you scream and shout. I don't know what that's all about, but you leave me here with nothing except the whiskey and this diamond ring. I'm a loner on the road, oh, and down it all alone. I don't need you anymore to bitch out and switch out in this course. I'm a loner on the road. I'm a loner on the road. And I'm a loner on the road, going down it all alone. I don't need you anymore to muck up and fuck up in this course. I'm a loner on the road. I'm a loner on the road, and I'm a loner on the road, and I'm a loner on the road.
Man, that was awesome.
What do you think
You got a powerful voice, man.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I heard my cursing there. Holy crap, y'all. That was
Sorry,
powerful.
I didn't realize I was dropping F-bombs.
No, you're good.
I got it. It's fine.
We got it.
All right,
We can
great.
drop
Yeah,
it.
just bleep them out.
We're good.
Yeah.
We can take care of
we're
that. Oh my God! You got to leave them in. You can't. What do you say? Muck up and what do you even say?
So,
But thank you.
my last question would be:
That was great.
When you are writing these songs, do you think about are cognizant of maybe you're borrowing something from someone else that you heard and you don't even know it? Because I feel like that happens all the time where you're just exposed to so much music that you're writing something and then it's something deep in the back of your mind that you heard somewhere else.
There's a quote, there's a lyric from a Dawes song, When My Time Comes, where it says, anyone that's making anything new only breaks something else. So I live by that, where I'm very cognizant that, like, you know, there's a sound that's already out there. There are people who have already done a lot of music. You know, like, it's very hard to just make something completely unique. All the chord progressions are very similar to other music. It's not to say that we're ripping off anybody, but there are influences from many artists across the board. One of our biggest,
how can you take them and blend them into each other to make it so, like, what if we were Americana with Little Queens of the Stone Age and Pink Floyd or something?
Exactly.
You know, like, just kind of like these little tidbits and
I like the sound of that. Actually.
Yeah, that's a great example because on the record
you guys are selling. I'm in.
Yeah, on the record, Tyler is a huge Josh Homme fan.
Oh no way!
So that the solo of Loners on the track is like his tip of the hat to Josh Homme. So it's like we're trying to infuse as much as we can. And Thomas Wynn really helped us like find that. Like we had the sound. He helped us hone in exactly what's going to make it.
And throw in cool ideas like on the song Ruins. Like, what if we have like a 2.5 minute just like Pink Floyd thing going on in the middle? We're like,
we're gonna call it a jelly jam.
The jelly jam.
A jelly jam.
Bunch of delay and big guitars.
You gotta have a cool guy like Thomas Wynn in there. Like nobody, like if you walked in there and said, you know what you guys need? A jelly jam. They were like, get the hell out of here.
Boo hiss. Yeah.
But like he's that guy.
He did. We started pre-production with him in March of 2021. So we've been working with him a lot. And we were in the studio over at Ryan Smith's studio. He's a drummer, Shaq Nasty, a bunch of bands.
Yeah.
Studio 1509. We worked with them for months and months and months and months just getting all the tracks down.
That's great.
Shout out to those guys.
Congrats on the record, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Super awesome.
Thank you guys very much.
There will be another single coming.
February 17th will be the next one.
There you go. So look forward to that, man.
Loners this Friday, the 13th.
Loners,
you go.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, again, Jordan Foley and The Wheelhouse. Find them on Spotify. Play their single.
Go support them. Spotify. That's what they're saying.
Thanks, guys. We
Thank
appreciate
you so
it.
much, Tom.
Thank you guys very much.
You guys. Thank you.
Anytime. Let's do it again.
Yeah, we will see you tomorrow.
All right, still on Twitch because we've got more recording to do today, but you guys are done. That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That sounded good as hell.
Tthank you. It means a lot that you guys had us on, really.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't know what I'm doing with press or media or anything, so I literally just went with what I knew.
Well, whatever you said worked because I saw it. Like, let me check out the song. I was like, hey Sam, this is good. Yeah, I mean, he did a good job.
And the fact that you like Joshua Ray Walker, dude, that's gonna be a hell of a show.
Mike and
the Moon Pies are headlining that show.
I wish we talked about that ahead of time.
You Look Good in Neon.
Yeah.
So
I like
real
that.
Good.
What's the tune that Joshua does? His big hit, the one he did on Tonight Show.
And Voices.
Voices.
Man.
Voices. This guy's voice is just
such a sweetheart too. Same thing that you said. Like he and I became
very
friends,
nice.
And he just like. He's like, yeah, man, when you got music come out, like send it to me. Like, I want to listen.
I messaged him on Instagram. I said, I just wanted to let you know I'm sitting in my bedroom listening to this record. It's awesome, man. And he just wrote back. He's like, oh, wow, thanks so much. I'm glad I'm in Kentucky now.
I found out that a lot of artists will do that. I have like a side handle on Instagram that I just like post music that I'm listening to.
Yeah.
It's called Words Plus Music, not to plug it, but like. They like I'll tag. I just did it because I wanted somewhere to share music.
Yeah.
I started tagging them in it. So many artists are like, man, thank you.
They'll comment.
Much.
Yeah.
They share it. Like Brandy Carlisle saw my shit.
Yeah,
and
like,
I was like, what?
DJ High Tech from Run the Jewels.
Oh, yeah.
I just said I was like, oh man, this single's great, and he messaged me and DM'd me, and he's like, we love coming to Orlando, man. Thanks for checking it out. I'm like, okay, well you didn't. Yeah. Why did you take time to do that? That was odd.
Everybody's so accessible now because they're all looking at their social media, and then why not? It just takes them they'll comment back. Thanks.
Where's that go, Sam?
Friday 2.
It's pretty amazing.
What's cool about these artists too, like kind of the Americana, let's call it outlaw country, alt country, whatever it may be, where they're becoming very popular, but they're not having to go through these like huge record labels.
Corporations.
They're running their own Instagram.
Yeah.
They're popular enough to be known and widespread, and play cool shows and festivals, but still answer their DMs.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sweet spot.
American, we follow our biggest influence, which I meant to say was like American Aquarium. DJ Barn.
Wonderful.
I got to open for him at Will's like years ago. That's actually when Tyler and I like officially met. Was at that show, but like. The way he goes about his business, the branding, the merchandise, the live shows, like the way he works his mojo, like that's the ticket for us. Like Childers, like the fact that like Tyler Childers has gained such momentum just by playing his music and getting recognized
People
that way.
sharing it,
Like,
yeah.
you know, you don't have to go through this.
Oh
like,
yeah,
like I was
he's
saying, like this
he has a new
mainstream-
single I heard yesterday that I didn't know
You don't
about.
have to move to
On the record,
Nashville
yeah.
to be a good songwriter.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean, I think that's what I was trying to allude to earlier. Was like,
Or to gain a following.
yeah, you don't have to.
The guy that wrote our theme song
Yeah.
for Tom and Dan, his name is Brock Berryhill. I don't know if you know Brock, but he's in Nashville now. He moved out there about 5 years ago, and he writes for Jason Aldean and all the guys you want to the guys you want to write for. I mean, not necessarily my bag, but it doesn't have to be, right? I mean,
if that's like, that's a job.
yeah,
It's-
and he's so
It's kind of
talented.
the same thing that you were just talking about with the music. It is a job. I get a lot of moments where I'm still like, pinch me. We just got
Yeah.
to talk on a podcast about.
Oh, man, that's cool.
Like the live shows we get to play. Like there are moments where I'm like, man, I can't believe we.
That was the entire experience with Thomas Wind. We grew up as such huge
we're
fans
both
of him.
big fans
And
of
we're in
Thomas.
the studio and we're just like, can you believe we're doing this right
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Can you believe Thomas
Thomas,
just told us
buddy.
he likes our music?
Oh, do we have 5 minutes? I just want to double check before
Yes.
Moon. Do you guys heard of Moon Hooch? The saxophone band? They're up next, so we're talking to
Oh,
those
they're
guys.
playing at West End.
They are, yeah.
Yeah,
I
we got
saw
those
that.
guys
I live out
next.
in Stanford, so that's.
Oh, cool.
That's
Yeah.
right on.
As of Friday, I will too.
Yeah.
that's right.
Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I have to.
Can we get a photo with you?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
And then you can sign our bathroom. We got.
Oh hell yeah, we got that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of. You probably recognize some folks in there.
You get too famous, you'll never come back here. We're here.
Where do you want to do it? We can do it wherever.
Let me just get
Do it out here near the fish tank or whatnot. Oh, don't hit, man. I just bought a new guitar.
Oh yeah.
It took me 9 months to get my guitar that I ordered.
So that was refurbished for me.
Yeah.
It's a '73 Gibson that like
It's beautiful.
it was beat to hell. The guy Stacy had.
I'll take it. I just need someone to film.
in front?
We do it backwards. Do it this way.
Up to
near the
you
guitar.
guys.
Yeah, we'll do it this way.
Yeah, it was like a supply chain thing where it took forever to get to you,
Yep.
right? Yep.
And it was my dream guitar. I ordered one of the. It's a double or single O Martin,
Oh,
the tiny little parlor guitar.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And for a little guy like me, it's like,
It's great.
oh my God, it fits my geometry.
1, 2, 3, and then one more.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you so much.
you're
Yeah,
spending
that's
what started at $1,900,
Yeah.
then it went to $2,100,
Oh,
then
yeah.
it went to $2,400, then it went to $2,600.
They're not-
I
they're
told
not
my wife, I'm like, should I cancel this?
Yeah.
Right.
Remember with the guitar?
Yeah,
It took forever to get
Yeah,
the
the
guitar.
guy that refurbished that one actually built that one from scratch.
Yeah, my latest one of my latest guitars, an SG. It's a 22, but if you run the serial number, everything was made in 2020, but they didn't have the resources to
Yeah,
put it all together.
and they would hold it. That's what
Yeah, they'll
mine
hold it.
sat, apparently.
Yep.
It just sat
Wow.
until they could get what they needed.
Exactly.
It was like one
Yeah,
little
most
piece of
it
wood.
was ready to go. Exactly.
Yeah. That's crazy. I'm sorry, I gotta check this thing to make sure we're not gonna get our Zoom guys.
Yeah, we'll get out of here. Thank you so much.
Anytime, y'all. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Dude.
Oh, that was super fun. I love it when we have bands in.
Michael
Michael
and Winslow.
and Wenzel. All right, I got that saved. That was great. I forget how much I enjoy when we have
Yeah, I know.
musicians come in and
Well, it's good when they know how to talk.
it's like yesterday when we had, these guys that know how to say words. It was like yesterday when we had that sip of beer on a Tuesday. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, I know. Although I was so tired when I got
Yeah,
home.
it was
Couldn't
it
do
killed the
nothing.
momentum. Oh, it killed everything. I got home and Andrea was like, have you been drinking? And I was like, yes, I have.
Oh no, I had it. Chris was
You're
like, "You haven't
smarter
drank
than
in 5 days. Good for you." I'm like, "Thank you."
Wow.
Yes, I have. 5 days. Did you say it all creepy like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Where are we putting Moon Hooch? Sorry.
Let's put them on Monday 3.
Are they live from Brooklyn
I would assume so.
or on tour?
Or maybe they're on
somewhere?
tour, yeah.
Are they gonna be? They're gonna be at West End.
West End on the 19th.
Okay.
This coming 19th?
Yes.
Wow. It's funny. What's funny about this band is a lot of people know who they are just because they've seen small snippets of them, and that's my question: is how much more popular are you because you have been a shared like?
Oh yeah, that's where I
almo-
saw them.
You are like a meme.
Well, they play in Richmond, Virginia tonight, so they're probably in Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia. They go up to Newport News. They can get shot at by a 6-year-old. That's my mom's whole hometown. So
With
weird.
Balkan Bump. Balkan?
Balkan
Balkan Bump?
Balkan Bump. It's a cool name.
Thursday, January 19th. Drinkatweston.com. $18 tickets, 21 and up.
21 and up. Are all age shows still a thing?
It is, yeah.
What does that mean? What's the difference? They just lower the age? Because they're still going to ban people that want to drink booze, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's just you got to be.
So the 21 and up shows, they just don't want the hassle.
Probably.
Okay.
And it's telling you that it's probably not appropriate for kids too. You know, like when we saw. What was that?
The chat room's making fun of us for still recording now. They're like, how long do you guys record? They're like, you wanted more content. Now you get infinite Tom, Dan, and Sam. Yeah, I know, guys. We said we were cutting back, but we're not really. We're like, hey, you know what's better than interviewing one band, two bands? Let's do 3 bands, 4 bands.
It's a busy today and tomorrow.
Yeah, today and tomorrow.
Worked out a lot.
Yesterday, I didn't do shit. Yesterday, I drank beer, and then I got home. I told my wife I had been drinking, and then I 3D printed a secret project I'm working on. SJ Design, he's been asking, I think he's asked this before. He wants to know if we would do a 24-hour stream.
No one wants that.
Raise money for something.
No.
Raise money for
Raise money for me, bitch.
For
I'm going to be here for 24 hours straight.
Will you show your titties for 24 hours?
Come on.
For the full 24 hours?
I'm looking out for her. You don't want her to make money? Fine, that's fine.
No,
someone did offer to pay to look at my titties on Instagram.
I'm the good
Did
one.
he say how much?
Yeah,
he did not.
I said $200.
He did not offer a number. He just basically asked if I would be willing to.
It was
and he insinuated like, "Hey, I'm not gonna share it with anybody."
The way he asked too was like, because he mentioned your husband, he was too far.
Yeah.
This guy lacks tact.
Well, he did say, just to defend this gentleman, he said no offense.
Are you defending your own fake account?
Well, didn't he say take no offense to this, or like?
He said, with all due respect to you and your husband.
That is meaningless when you go
with
no
all
offense.
due respect.
Yeah.
If you say that in front of anything, you could say anything after that.
It's like today when we said no offense, but we don't think your sons could chop you with a machete. You knew what we meant.
Mm-hmm.
They also love you too much to do that because you're a fun dad.
No, they. Max punched me straight in the balls.
Good. You deserve that.
And then I whipped his pee-pee with his own
Oh my
underwear.
God.
With his underwear.
Yeah, then
it hurts.
And then he got mad. He run to tell his mom he's crying. And I'm like, you punched me in the balls.
I love when you say tell his mom.
When you punch the balls, I whip the pee-pee.
yeah. And then he was arguing that whipping his pee-pee was worse than a punch. And I'm like, a punch is worse. Yeah. And I'm like,
pee-pee hurts though, right?
Well,
I hope they aren't listening to what we're talking about.
Well, then he started hitting his own pee-pee. He's like, it doesn't hurt. You whipped me.
Thanks again, y'all. Dude, getting the head whipped by anything is excruciating. You are a horrible monster of a man.
A full punch to
never
my
punch
balls.
down. Never punch down. He's a defenseless little boy.
He's a baby.
He is a baby. He's the little one, Sam. He's tiny and he's so cute.
I just swat whipped his pee-pee with his, and they were like briefs, dude. They're tiny little briefs.
But the elastic, it hurts. The elastic you'll get on the tip. Oh, stings like a motherfucker. Tommy
Concrete Toad, it was a different guy.
Tommy is becoming a tiny Tom, and they just sit and they stare into nothing next to each other, and you can't tell them a difference. You can't tell them apart.
Especially when he has his glasses on.
Tommy told me like we were deciding what to do. Max wanted to play baseball. Tommy wanted to play football. Then they went back and forth. Then Max wanted to play golf. So we got the golf mat. Like we had a putting range.
Executive putt buddy.
So
They're like a real executive.
And then Tommy's like, I don't want to do that. I'll just sit here and daydream. And then I'm like, you're just gonna sit there? And then he's just sitting there on the couch working off. And I'm like, don't do. What are you doing?
Well, that's good. He's using his imagination.
That's a skill, man.
And I'm like, come play putt-putt with us. He's like, no, I want to sit here and daydream.
He's not go like you are.
He's like,
trying to chill.
He's like, I'm okay being bored, which is a skill. Most kids can't do that. He gets a point. Elevated human, better than you.
But he's not even being bored. He's daydreaming. So I'm like, what are you dreaming
he's
about?
Self-contained. Who cares? Oh, I got him.
Okay.
This is Wenzel, Wenzel. That's a nice way of. I like that. Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
Hey, can you see us and hear us?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Awesome. Hey, it's good, very good to see you. Thanks for the time, y'all. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We'll get you going right. Actually, we can do it right now. You ready,
Yeah.
Tom?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Can you hear us
Monday
okay?
3.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's check that camera. We got just them, just us. Awesome. All right, here we go. In 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We'll plug a couple things. Science on Tap coming up January 21st.
Yes.
Sofa and Suds the 22nd.
It's the year of Beer Fest right now because, of all these shutdowns. All the Beer Fests are back right now. We've got Sam. She's going to be out to Solar Bears on January 26th, and the Florida Smash Beer Festival is January 28th. The proceeds go to Spoonful of Hope, and that's put on by our good friends at Hourglass.
So I saw our next guests randomly on social media.
Yeah, they're super famous.
And I stopped and watched because they were playing saxophone, but with road cones.
Yes. That's the one I've probably been the most shared. I've seen that as well.
And it was creating an interesting sound, and they were playing, and it looked like they were just like in the city somewhere.
Like busking.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is this? And then I saw Moon Hooch, and then I was like, wait a minute, I think we're talking to these guys. And, and then I was like, well, they're obviously
it's listening.
My phone's listening to me again, or maybe because they're going to be at the West End coming up January 19th.
Yes.
And you could see them as well. But from Moon Hooch, we have Michael and
Wenzel.
Wenzel, sorry about that. Wenzel.
Yeah.
How you doing, Michael and Wenzel?
We're great. Doing good. How are you?
I almost said Michael Winslow.
Yeah, do you know who
Right.
Michael Winslow is?
No.
Okay, there's probably too
I
young
think
for
they're
you.
too young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is too young for. Okay, there used to be a series of movies in the '80s called Police Academy, and there was one guy in the Police Academy movies who could do a bunch of wacky voices, and his name is Michael
effects.
Winslow. He does like a lot of sound effects and stuff. So like when we knew we were talking to Michael and Wenzel, because we're stupid, couldn't stop. We couldn't not say one of your names without saying Michael Winslow, and we've been messing it up all day. And I'm just going to preemptively apologize to you for doing that. But yeah, Police Academy movies.
All good.
So tell us how Moon Hooch started, and
yeah, how do you go from seemingly busking? How do you go and take woodwind instruments and basically morph it into a like almost like a you guys are like now dance memes, like you're on TikTok. The music is being used for other purposes. How does something like that happen with two guys that play saxophone?
Well, we went to school together in New York and started busking on the streets back in 2010. And we did that 8 hours a day for about 2 years until we got picked up on a national tour with Mike Doty.
There you go.
And that was kind of our first big break. And then, that was kind of before Instagram and all that. So we really grew an organic following for many years just by repetitively hitting the same cities, building our fan base. And then we started doing more stuff on social media together with Cones, and Wenzel recently has been doing traffic on Saxman pranks on the streets.
Yeah.
Pranking people, going into, coffee shops and scaring people on the street with his traffic cone.
Was it difficult, or was the uniqueness of the saxophone? Like I played in, like marching band. I had a lot of buddies that played, and I got to say, normally like your baritone sax, guys that are playing the berries, stuff like that, they were fun people. Like they had a good time. The sound is unique and it's original. Do you always get that reception with like the saxophone? And how did you guys just decide to kind of open it up to not just being traditional jazz?
We started out as traditional jazz and spent like 10 years studying only jazz and practicing a lot of jazz. But then we wanted to just play for a wider audience, and people dance to simple rhythmic music.
Right.
People dance to modern jazz anymore. So we just started composing songs that were simpler and more rhythmic, and people liked it.
I want to talk about busking. How do you choose where you do it? Because I feel like these the popular places to busk. If that's appropriate.
I think that's,
where like other buskers may have that territory. It's like hot dog carts. I feel like
if this is my corner.
If you set up your hot dog cart in the territory of someone else, like people fight over that stuff.
Very angry, yeah.
And so, like, how does that work? Is there a hierarchy? Do you work your way up to the premium spots? Do you start randomly? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean. So we, as a band, we actually don't busk very much anymore. But back when we did, there was definitely some territorial things. Like one time, our old drummer almost got in a fight with a bucket drummer because we were playing on the subway platform, and he came up and he's like, "This is my spot," and they almost got in a fight.
Yeah.
So it's territorial, but our music brought a good vibe, and people really loved it. So. A lot of the guys who were there before us kind of gained a respect for us, and we showed respect. So, we really didn't have too many issues. The biggest issues we had were with the police. I mean, they really just didn't want us there at all.
Yeah.
Police hate jazz?
Police hate everything. It's, some do, not all.
Do they tell you it's a form of panhandling or something, and they don't
You're providing a service here.
I mean, it depends on the cop. Some of them are just in a bad mood and don't like music, and sometimes they also like it. It seems like a lot of the time the police has, the option of how to react to a busker. Sometimes they want to just chase you away. Other times they tolerate it.
Yeah, it's probably up to the individual officer and whether or not he's a D-hit or not, or she. Or the mood they're in that day.
One of the things I've wondered about in playing in a band, and you guys have to do. You're constantly having to do maintenance on your instruments. You're constantly having to make sure that you take care of them. If you lose them or whatever, that can be a big deal. Obviously, you're going to need reeds if you're playing reeded instruments, or instruments that need reeds. Is there anything you can use in a pinch? Do you have to carry everything with you for the tour? Are you ever having to zip out in the middle of a city and try to find something specific? Like, how do you make sure that you have everything, or do you have to pre-plan for that?
Yeah, I mean, it always happens that something goes wrong, and sometimes a horn even broke on stage. And in that case, we even had a situation where we had to stop the show and announce through a microphone and ask if there's anyone in the audience that knows how to repair saxes or has a hair tie. We had an epic hero come through from, what was Eric's shop again? One of the sax repair guys from Brooklyn just was in our show and just came on stage and fixed the saxophone in front of everyone.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was pretty epic.
Yeah, and I probably only in New York could you be doing a show and have a woodwind instrument repairman enjoying the show. You're not going to find a lot of that. Yeah, I wish more kids took band, but I
that's not going to happen in Sanford.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
You want a cigarette? You want some weed? They'll give it to you. But other than that, they got nothing. Anyway, and again, they'll be at the West End January 19th. So go see Moon Hooch. Sorry to keep going back to busking, but I have a couple questions.
It is fascinating that you guys started to do that and then became a full-fledged touring band.
So one is, how much do people tip normally? Like, say you have a good location that's busy, right? Say it's a busy street, or you're in a subway or whatever, lots of foot traffic. Is it something where you could make $500 in tips? Like you said, 8 hours. That seems like it's so long that it's crazy long.
Yeah, that's real work.
But so let's just say per hour over an 8-hour stretch, if you're hanging out there playing music, how much money do people tip?
I mean, we used to make a lot of money. Like there were days where we'd walk away with $300 each.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
I feel like that's more than a bar will pay you to most. Like, I talked to acoustic guitarists and people that will go do gigs sometimes.
Playing in a steakhouse or something.
And they are lucky to get, $50 an hour, maybe or $25 or so. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you could make more money on tips at busking than you could at a professional bar or restaurant or something, right?
I mean, it depends. I think it's very similar to bartending. Like, you can have a really good night, and then you can also have a bad night.
Yeah, I'm sure it varies.
It was sometimes a little nerve-wracking. Like, I remember thinking to myself, if I can pay rent this month, really depends on how many people are going to walk up to us and throw dollar bills in there.
Yeah.
And to me, that was such a weird thought to
Yeah.
be like, my life's like dependent on people just giving. But it always worked out.
Yeah,
And
that's some anxiety right there.
Then we started using that platform to sell out shows in Brooklyn by giving out flyers.
Does the container matter? Because I feel like an open saxophone case is the best busker container, like the open guitar case. There's something that people are like, there's got to be some psychology behind it, right? It's like, if you have a bucket, it's not as good as the open guitar case or saxophone case, or the jar. Maybe you wanted to say tips, because that reminds people, like, oh yeah,
put some money in there, prime the pump. I don't know how it works.
Did you go through a bunch of different containers and you're like, this one works the best?
I mean, we mostly use the bass drum case.
Nah,
there you
bass
go.
drum case.
That's a big one too, and then you can carry a lot of money.
People can't see how much money's in it. I don't know. It felt like the most secure. Also,
yeah.
Once it filled up to a certain point, we would then grab a few of the dollar bills, put a blanket down on top of the big pile, and then put a few on top.
Start over again.
Also had it where people would just straight up walk up to our bucket, just take money out and walk away.
Yeah. Really?
Oh man, I gotta tell you, that's when you get a saxophone upside the head. For me, you better eat the saxophone.
They just go steal your money in front of you?
Yeah,
I mean, it's usually homeless people.
Yeah. They have those in Sanford.
Let me ask you another question. Because with street performers, like, we go up there, there's a lot of busking going on in St. Augustine, or like in any really heavily tourist area.
Towns, yeah.
But not so much downtown. Like, there's when I was in New Orleans, there was street performers and music going on. It was awesome.
It's part of the culture.
Yeah, but it's really we don't have that many street performers or musicians. I see it at the Castleberry Publix every once. There's some people playing violin.
Yeah,
that's just a crazy person, I think.
It's got his whole family out there, though.
Yeah. So is there, if I'm a pedestrian and I'm walking by, you guys are playing saxophone, you got your road cones that you're playing, and I stop and watch you for 3 Mississippis, that is at least, I have to then leave
that's
$1.
The street code.
Yeah, the code is, if I watch you for any amount of time, then I have to tip, because you're providing entertainment. If I walk by and ignore you, then there's no tip. But if I watch you, tip, right?
I mean, I'm not aware of any law like that or anyone enforcing it. We also.
It's just
what
the
you should
courtesy,
do.
right?
If you just stand there and watch someone perform and then just walk away with no tip, you're stealing entertainment.
You kind of are.
You have to almost put your hands in your ears and walk by if you don't want to tip.
I guess I can't listen.
You're being exposed to it.
I don't know. It's like, nobody asked us to play.
Okay.
That's also
all right.
true.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think they're very fair. You're demanding money.
We're also pissing people off. It's like, people are going to work. Sometimes we get down there at 2 p.m. People are going to work and shit. They have their kids. They have shit going on. They don't want to hear saxophone necessarily. So
True.
We got a lot of hate too. It wasn't just these guys are great.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
Shut up.
Well, I mean, it isn't aggressive. It can be loud. I mean, saxophone is. It wasn't voted
loud.
most pleasant sound.
Yeah,
it is to me, but
you guys are trained and you're good at it. It's not like you're just. If I just blew into a saxophone and just made horrible noises, that's one thing. But you guys are playing. You're trained and you're, it's good music. So who could hate that? Who's gonna be like, no? Scream no?
extremely loud.
It's very loud. It's disruptive. This one lady shoved an umbrella in my saxophone.
Oh my God, that's aggressive.
When did you start with using the road cone as a way it kind of amplifies it, gives it a unique sound?
Yeah.
It makes it lower.
Okay.
More air resistance, so the reed vibrates slower, and it makes the saxophone lower. Just
Awesome.
the lower.
And is that something where you were busking one day and you saw a road cone and I'm going to put this in my sax and you were playing it? Like, is that how it was born?
I was thinking about how we can get more bass, and I thought a bigger saxophone is just more air. And then I found a cardboard tube, put it in my saxophone, and realized it did the same thing as a bigger saxophone. It was lower. Then I lost that cardboard tube and replaced it with a road cone in Iowa. Brought it to a plumber, had them cut it and fit it, and the traffic cone saxophone was born in Iowa.
There you go.
Awesome.
Wow, and they're very proud of it. The Idaho. What are they? Yeah, they
There you
love
go.
it.
Yeah. Well, Michael Winslow.
Oh, you did it again.
You did it again.
Wenzel and Michael.
Yeah.
I gotta say it backwards because I cannot say Michael
Wenzel and Michael. Go see Moon Hooch.
Moon Hooch, moonhooch.com.
Yeah.
Go to drinkatwestin.com to grab your tickets.
It's going to sell out, so snag
Thursday,
them now.
January 19th.
There you go. Guys, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Yeah,
Peace,
you
guys.
too, man. Take care. See ya.
I don't think they liked your funny business, Tom.
Okay, okay. Can we?
That's
Let's
what
go.
I
Now
do.
we got to go real. Can we go real for a second?
What?
We have to go real for a second. Tell me if I was wrong here.
Do you think Tom is setting us up with these interviews?
Okay, hold on. I have to tell you, this is my theory. You tell me if I'm right. I could tell they were tired.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to do the interview.
And they got a gig tonight.
And the one guy got up and he kept going to like the bathroom and then he came back and
Never look at him.
And their answers were real curt and they're staring at the floor. And you wanted to power through and see if you could win them over. And
Yeah.
I almost did.
underneath, I'm doing the thing where I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
come
was
on, let's
ignoring
just end
that.
this.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now.
I was
there
going to
is-
let it burn.
Never give up.
No, I always give up.
Never surrender.
No, when I know it's not going, because here's my thought. Powering through that does not help. It's not helping getting people there. It's not helping their interview. It's nothing. It's not helping anything. All it's doing is making me uncomfortable, and we're asking them
I'm trying to
questions.
share the fun videos in the chat.
It's like, look, let's just end it. You guys don't want to do it,
No,
so why
no.
are we wasting time? Why are we powering through that?
Because there's an endless amount of questions that I have.
He's got
But
busking
they
questions.
don't want to ask. They don't want to answer them, and I don't want you to ask them. And I keep
Yeah,
telling you,
they're
I'm
like, we haven't
please.
done busking in a
I'm
long
like,
time.
please, for the love of Christ, stop talking to them because they don't want to do this interview. And you're like, I can win them over. And I'm like, no, you can't.
I kind of.
No, you
I
didn't.
won over
No.
Wenzel.
So you call him Michael Winslow
no,
again?
No, you didn't. You know what happened?
Wenzel liked me.
You know what happened?
He
The
definitely
guy,
did not.
the guy in the muscle tank top that kept going.
I think
Oh,
it's Michael.
muscle man.
Yeah, Michael, we won. We didn't win Michael over. Michael just said, oh, God, these guys don't give up. All right, you want to go?
Here we go.
That's what I wanted.
That's not winning him over. That's not winning him over.
Yeah, but
That
I
is
got him
called-
to do the you want to go, let's go.
For Christ's sake, we said, hey, thanks for your time, and they said good night. They don't even know what time it is, dude.
Well, they're performing all the time. They got, Dom is saying, hey, talk to these guys. They're like, who, what? They don't even know Michael Winslow. They're too young.
That made
Who
me
doesn't
laugh.
know
I was like, they
Michael
for
Winslow?
sure are too young to know
I
Michael Winslow.
almost asked them if they ever even heard of
The
Police
chat room
Academy.
saying you're a chirper. That's true. I wanted to end that. I didn't want to talk to them. As soon as I saw that guy staring at the floor, no offense to him, I just understood as a human. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are tired. They don't want to do that. I can read body language. Let's get the plug in. Let's say,
Also,
hey, they're going to be here. Let's
they
get
didn't
them the
have
hell
to be
out of
on
here.
Zoom. They could have just called,
Yeah,
which
and-
I thought was happening until about 10 minutes before.
And then I'm like, let's just get them the hell out of here. But you go like, let's do it. And he's staring at the crowd. I was so uncomfortable. I was
Well,
so uncomfortable.
you're looking at them. Never look at them.
Well, we're on camera.
No, that's why. Because if I
You
look at them,
couldn't
I can
feel the
see.
distance? I could feel the distance when you'd ask
Oh, I
a
feel
question.
the distance.
Yeah, you would be like, so how'd you get the road cone thing? And he'd be like this, so how'd you get the road cone thing? Yes, so
It brings more bass.
the road cone started in Iowa. And I'm like, this
that-
guy doesn't want to answer anything.
That's Wenzel. I know.
Yeah, I can tell by his
I
accent.
knew which one's Michael, which one's Wenzel.
I knew Michael. I knew Winslow.
Maybe there was a language barrier.
I know he's the black guy.
Yeah. They're fine.
No, it was not fine. You took years off my life, man.
No, they loved it.
They did not love it. If they loved it, they wouldn't have gotten up during the interview and gone poof.
They said to themselves,
I'm
like, that
sorry,
was a good one.
I'm sorry, my friend Michael has
I was
to
like,
go.
Tom asked some good questions.
My friend Michael needs to go check his muscle tank.
You know what I liked about the Unicycle kid? Every single question, he said it was a good question.
Yeah,
and it made me and Daniel happy.
I could tell.
That's what happened.
You guys were fighting over who had the best question.
It pumped up Tom. So then when he got to Moon Hooch, he's like, I'm the king of questions. I can ask Michael Winslow anything I want. I'm Barbie Walters. Right? And then what you did? And then you leaned in, and I'm ferviously giving you the swirly finger. I gave it once.
I
gave a little
saw it,
swirly.
and I was like, don't look at
Now
the
you know
swirly.
how I feel when you guys ignore my swirly
I gave
finger.
a tiny swirly finger. And then the next time I put
To
it
the
on
rodeo.
them, and I go, God damn it, I'm going to give them big swirl. And I'm like, swirl, swirly finger. I got big swirl. And you still, right in my face, you flushed my own dreams down the toilet. You treat me with nothing but disrespect. Out of control here.
Go see Michael Winslow.
Don't you dare.
Is he okay? What's up with Michael Winslow?
No, he's mad.
Oh, he's mad.
yeah. He's very mad.
Oh, my God.
All right. So, bye-bye.
Okay. So what else do we have to do? That was funny.
We need intros, and then you guys got to do that, like, video. Mm-hmm.
My God, when is it in? It's like we finished this thing. Do the commercial. Now fucking do your video.
Yeah. I don't know. Why? What am I?
Where's that go?
Monday 3. Monday is 1/16.
We're recording for Monday on a Wednesday?
We're way ahead.
Yeah. There's so many guests.
So many events. You didn't even ask them about what they're going to do for the environment when they're here.
They didn't want to do the interview. I'm not going to ask that guy staring at the ground about what are you going to do about the environment. Well,
But that's how the
I don't know.
kids do their interviews nowadays. I'm cool to it. I understand.
Cool to it.
You gotta.
You can't say I'm cool to it because that doesn't mean you're cool to
I'm
it.
hip to it. I know what the flim
Oh,
flam's
I'm
about.
hip to be
a square.
I was about to say hip to it, but I do. That's real.
I can dig it. That's what my husband says now. It's driving me fucking nuts.
Because they're used to the laid back, impulsive. That's
Impulsive.
You know, you have to act like you don't care. They were doing it, but I was trying to get them up.
Of course they were doing it. The guy got up during the interview to go to the bathroom. That's what you do when you don't want to be interviewed. I'm not being mean. I'm just being honest.
Seemed a little uninterested. Yeah.
Yes, he didn't want to be there, and that's fine.
Oh, when was this? August of 2022. Michael Winslow returns with sound effects, stand-up, and song.
Yes.
It may be an old man thing, but any interview that I'm doing, even if it's on a show that I'm aware that no one's listening to, right? Like, say someone's like, please be on my podcast, and I'm like, okay. But I'm saying it's a small nothing, right? Like, I realize, like, man, I don't think anybody's listening to this. Like, it's you, your
I still
friend.
give it 100%.
Yeah. I try my
we're
hardest.
old
Is it
man.
weird?
I do that too.
I try
We're
my
an old man,
hardest.
old lady.
I'll be sweating just trying to do.
I'm pacing around my house on my earbuds trying to make some stupid podcast sound good.
I'll tell story even if the interviewer, the person whose podcast I'm on doesn't. I'm like, he's not doing a good enough job. I need to take this over and start being entertaining. Like, I'll think that this to myself. Like, I have to do something. Anyway, that is an old man thing. But I feel like
I do it too.
Shouldn't everybody feel that way?
No.
Should we book Michael Winslow for our next event?
Yes.
Well, he's going to be the special guest enforcer for the Pervert Pete Tuttle match. All right, what are we doing here?
I remember when Michael Winslow, we've talked about this, but he
came into the
He will not just talk to you.
No.
He wants to do the horn. Yeah. And it's like, what's wrong with this?
So I was going to Publix yesterday. ATM. That's not compute. That's not compute.
Like, you can't. You're like, so, Michael, when did you learn how to do some of these sound
You know,
effects?
as a kid, I was an only child. I'd go in there to brush my teeth. Hey, Michael, brush your teeth.
And then I'll be like, you don't have to do any of that. You
don't understand. I have to do the voices.
Yeah. It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're like, God,
he doesn't
damn,
want to talk normally.
Man.
That freaks him out.
I can't imagine you ever making love to your wife without making all the noises. All right, what are we doing here?
Oh, you can enter now on michaelwinslowmedia.com to get your own ringtone made by Michael Winslow's voice.
Let's do that.
Get your own personalized ringtone.
Couldn't be better than our Chum Lee cameo.
Is he on Cameo? He should be, right?
I'm sure he is.
Look up Michael Winslow.
We're not
on
allowed
Cameo.
on Cameo. We're not famous enough.
I think anybody can get on there.
Are
now,
Moon
right?
Hooch on Cameo?
They got millions of views on social media.
Yeah, they're huge.
Michael Winslow is on Cameo.
How much is it?
$125.
Oh my God, he thinks a lot of himself.
If you want a business video, which I don't know what that means, $650.
Yeah, they'll endorse things. They'll like say, "Hey, that's why you got to go down to." They will do like, "Hey, you can come on down to Porky's Barbecue." I bet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This motherfucker's lost.
All right. Okay. So for $650, he'll do a Tom and Dan commercial.
That's worth it.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is. We could use it as
right on the cusp.
Yeah.
I was like,
we can have him say, "Hey, I'm Michael Winslow, and you're listening to Tom and Dan from the Just Call Mo Studio."
But will he do? I want him to do the Mo low, like
Just
the
call
low
it
Mo low.
Yeah, the low Mo.
The low Mo. Dude, we've recorded too much. What are we doing now?
Intro.
More.
Molo intros.
The Molo intros. We just got to do one, right?
Is there anything else?
Yeah, but we can do both Wednesday and Thursday because we're done with both of them.
Oh, okay. Good.
We still have Friday 1 if you want to keep recording, but we also have a shit ton of people tomorrow.
No.
What's Wednesday? What is we're doing?
Wednesday, we talked to Nate and Grace from Catboat Escapes.
Nate
And we talked to Mo DeWitt, and we talked about Sue Studio.
Catboat Escapes.
I'm getting so many spam texts. Do you guys get a lot of spam texts?
Not a lot,
I do.
but some.
I get a lot from people that want to buy my house or buy my mom's house.
Like, yeah, I get that, but I just get hello.
Yeah, I get that.
That's it? Just hello?
You know the ones I get the most on Instagram, dude? It's out of control to the point where it's creepy, where I get nothing but what I assume are fake Chinese, Japanese, Thailand, all Asian countries, hot, rich, seemingly rich Asian girls asking about Dansby.
Oh.
Hundreds of them. In broken English,
get a lot of, like,
where did you get your dog? How
Hey,
long have you
let's
had him?
collab
He's so
together. Wear some of our jewelry and post about it. Or
Yeah.
wear our sunglasses and post about it. Or they want to buy my underwear or show my tits. It's one of those four.
Cute. Dirty underwear.
Yeah.
With how
Yeah,
much for a
used.
little bit of poop in there?
No, they don't want the poop.
Do you want the stripe? I think you want the stripe.
They want the snail.
Yo, he blocked that out.
Look,
He
Powered
blocked that out.
through. He powered through.
Look at
He
that.
moon hooched it.
When you said that, he did.
the guy that asked you, is like,
Let me get that snail.
what? Did you respond to him at all?
No.
Oh, okay.
Never
She gave the
respond.
thinking
Never
emoji,
respond.
like I'm thinking about it.
What if he's a millionaire and he's willing to pay?
I
a
Oh,
million?
yeah, what if
looked
it's
through
a
his
man?
Instagram. He's no millionaire.
I'm a millionaire and I just want that snail.
Look at this text I had. Hi, it's Derek from Titan, offering honest working capital, no
I get
fake
this one.
monthly payments.
I got that one.
We fund 2x monthly revenue up to 2M. Like, why not put the whole? You have a ton of space. Put 2 million.
His texting,
2M.
his scam texting service will only hold so many texts.
Terms 6 to 14 or 24 months. What's best email?
Oh, my wife. Look
Why?
at this. My wife says, I like that sweatshirt on Daniel. He looks so handsome. Wow. Oh, thank
horny.
you. Oh, she's not horny. I've been trying to get it.
I've never heard of a hoodie making someone look handsome.
I'm like,
I love this
yeah,
bag.
it covers his body, his lumpy body. Oh, you
I
look
love
so
this
hot.
trash bag
Yeah,
you're
you look
wearing.
so hot in that coffin. Covers your horrible, lumpy, disgusting, fat body. All right. Wednesday was Nate and Grace and Catboat Escapes. I got some.
Okay.
Hey, we got some Florida boating captains coming in today for Weird
Oh,
Job.
oh, great. I'm a Florida
No,
boating
my
captain.
God, I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah. Have you seen in my truck? I'm towing a catboat. That's my new thing. I'm going to start a tour and then get, good-looking ladies. That's
Making
the
it
key.
creepy.
That's the key.
All right, perfect. And then Thursday was
Avery Suiter, the unicyclist, and neighborhood fights.
I think
and Tom versus kids with machetes.
I think I made him mad for a split second when I used the Adam Carolla joke when I was like, unicycle, you must get all the dudes.
Yeah.
You looked at me like, back off. What are you doing?
Well, he doesn't get the 90s gay joke. It doesn't resonate with 19-year-old. They're like, what?
I said Delaware and Key West are two gayest places. Okay, never mind.
Can't say that to 19-year-olds.
I know,
he's
you
like,
can't.
what?
You
He's
can't. They're like, you know what's funny is their reaction is, really? I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my God, you're crazy. All right. I got some. Well, it's happening.
What?
I'm learning to ride a unicycle, much like Andrea's mom, Vicky, who rides a unicycle.
Perfect, because we'll do this promotion. I'll get all the local news, and you could ride from here to Alaska.
Oh, wow.
And then your journey, you know, the news will show up. You're like, hey, promote Tom.
And I'll dress like the tiniest ringmaster. Okay. Thank you. Inconceivable.
Tonight on a Cooper Time with Tom and Dave. Tom and Dave welcome Nate and Grace from Cat Boat Escapes to the program. And here they are, the jet boat and paddle boat of radio, Tom and Dave. Voices. Tonight on a Cooper Time with Tom and Dave. Tom and Dave. Welcome Avery Suiter, the unicycle boy, to the program. And here they are. The Lance Armstrong and Pee Wee Herman of radio, Tom and Dave.
Oh, my God. It is a lot. But we did it. Is that it? But I think we are doing some commercials. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day, guys. We're going to go tidy up and see what else we got to get done. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope